Ladies and gentlemen, history was made today. The first black woman, Asian American presidential nominee for a major political party, Kamala Harris. She was confirmed by phone call. They said, "It's you." And she said, "Okay." And then we got this leaked video, which claims that Josh Shapiro is the VP pick for Kamala Harris. It was apparently taken down, but I don't think it's real. Some people are saying that it's a trial balloon. They want to gauge the reaction to a Josh Shapiro announcement before they actually do announce. And depending on how steep the backlash is, they're going to see if it works. Kamala Harris needs to win Pennsylvania. Trump's currently winning there, so Shapiro makes sense. But the problem is the far left doesn't really like people with the last name of Shapiro, if you know what I mean. But they also do need to win back Democrats, the Jewish liberal vote, after what happened with far leftists being, very pro-Hamas. There is some concern that Jewish voters may actually split to a certain degree to the Republican Party. So we'll talk about that. Plus, we got the stock market's been an absolute disaster today. And if this keeps up, it doesn't matter what the Democrats do, Donald Trump will end up winning. The other news, I guess, is Kyle Rittenhouse came out and said Trump was no good on 2A. And so this was happening overnight. Got attacked online. Well, I shouldn't say attacked, but got roasted by tons of Trump's most ardent supporters. And then he came out later and said, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I will vote for Trump. He wanted to write in Ron Paul. I don't know. I don't think it was particularly appropriate the way people handled dealing with a young guy who doesn't know a lot about politics. No disrespect, but that's what people did. So smash the like button, do all that stuff. Before we get started, my friends, head over to castbrew.com. Buy Cast Brew coffee. Why? Because it's the best dang coffee you'll ever have. I guarantee it. I can certainly guarantee things that are opinions. So buy Appalachian Nights, buy Rise with Roberto Jr., Ian's Graphene Dream, Alex Stein's Primetime Grind. Support the show by going to Cast Brew and buying coffee from us. And you're also helping us set up our coffee shop and our national coffee enterprise. The goal there is to have physical locations where people can hang out and congregate and all that good stuff. But also head over to timcast.com, click Join Us to become a member and support our work directly. As a member, you make all this possible. So if we didn't have you guys as members, we would not exist. We greatly appreciate your support. It really does mean a lot. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with all your friends. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Catharine O'Neill.
Thanks so much for having me.
Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Catharine O'Neill, and I'm the CEO of Meriwether Farms, which is a cattle company out in the great state of Wyoming. But before that, I am a veteran of the Trump administration, both campaigns. So here I am.
Right on. Well, thanks for hanging out. Should be fun.
You.
We got Libby hanging out.
I'm Libby Emmons. I'm here with the Post Millennial.
You don't want to say it, do you?
Why is that?
I was just telling all of these lovely people about how my son makes fun of me.
You were like, "I'm Libby Emmons."
He goes like this. He literally goes like this. You guys, this is so embarrassing. He goes, "I'm Libby Emmons with the Post Millennial."
Amazing.
No, I can't say it. I'm Libby Emmons with Human Events.
Oh, got
Post
him.
Millennial. Gonna switch it up a little bit. Anyway, I'm glad to be here.
I can't wait till my kids mock me. It's gonna happen really soon.
Oh my goodness. It happens to me so frequently. I am mocked constantly by the child.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm Shane Cashman. I'm filling in for Hannah Claire, and I want to shout out our friend Philip Bonte. His tour is starting right now. Opening for Megadeth. All That Remains and Megadeth on tour. Shout out to Phil. Have a great tour.
Very cool. We got Kellen pressing buttons.
What up?
What up?
I don't think my camera's on.
Oh, okay. Well, then too bad.
I am here.
All right, here's the news that I don't care about, but we're going to talk about because it's news. Let me start the segment by saying this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is historic that Kamala Harris was installed as the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. I don't rightly care all that much. She is a nothing, no-name candidate. There is nothing about her. She has zero accomplishments. Nobody voted for her. She may as well be a block of styrofoam as far as I care. And as far as I can tell, no one else cares either. I am deeply offended. And I am angered by this news because as I'm trying to put on a serious news program with guest commentary, I have no choice but to lead the show with something so boring and dumb as Kamala Harris, the historical moment where she was installed. So I'm sitting here being like, let's just spend the next 10 minutes informing everybody of what that means so we can move on to things that are more interesting because they're shoving Kamala Harris down our throats. How do you guys feel about it?
I'm with you. I think that she is just the worst candidate, and she hasn't received any votes at all. I don't know how she can be at the top of the ticket when she hasn't even run in a primary and has not received a single vote.
She's done a lot for prosecutions in California.
Yeah,
So there's
that's
yeah.
been
for her
really
record.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
She's got the slave owner vote.
That's right.
About her, yeah.
She kept people in jail beyond their prison sentence to force them to fight wildfires for cheap for $1 an hour.
I think the best you can say about her is that she can see what can be and is unburdened by what might have been.
No, honest question. What is the best thing you could say about Kamala Harris?
She probably has a decent sense of humor. I mean, she laughs a lot.
No, that's unfair.
You think she probably doesn't have a
She's got the Dr. Hibbert thing where she laughs for no
She
reason.
just laughs at everything.
So that's not a sense of humor.
She has.
Well, I mean it
she
for
does
real.
have
Like,
good hair,
does she?
right?
I wouldn't know.
She seems to have good hair.
That is a nice thing to say about somebody, though, especially a woman.
It's a nice. Women like when you say they have good hair.
That's a
I honestly
compliment,
cannot
Kamala.
think of a positive thing for
Come
her.
on the show.
I can't.
I can't either.
I really
She did-
can't.
But it's not because I'm trying to insult her or anything. I mean, I would like to insult her, but it's because she's nothing.
Like, you know how I've said repeatedly, and I mean it, that Gavin Newsom is 3 demons stacked on top of each other in a human skin suit? He's also charming, right? Like, I've seen him in person.
The
I've
right
seen-
demon is on top.
Right. Like, he can charm people. She is charmless.
She is charmless, but you know what? She's fighting for democracy, and that's why it's
Right.
so important that everyone in the media force voters to go
Right.
vote for her
Well, Biden
to
said
save
himself
democracy.
that he was hiring her because she was a woman and she was black. So
Yeah,
Biden
his
sees
entire
that in her.
VP
That's the only thing.
shortlist
Yeah.
was black women.
So there's that. What else? What else we
Yeah.
got? Anything for Kamala? Anybody?
My son was telling me earlier that she was wearing a $62,000 Tiffany necklace
Right.
in a donor video.
Okay, that's right.
So that's not hypocritical.
Do we like her proximity to Megan
Well,
Thee Stallion?
I don't. That is a funny meme though, where they're like Trump walks on stage, and then the quote was, "And I'm proud to be an American," and then it's like Kamala walks on stage, and it's like, I'm not going to repeat the quote from Megan Thee Stallion because it was
Go for it.
not family friendly. But Trump walks out clapping, hugging the American flag, and Kamala comes out with Megan Thee Stallion singing about her junk. You know what I mean?
Black Lives Matter liked when her campaign, while she was running for vice president, donated money to arsonists that were in jail that burnt down places in Missouri.
No, it was Minnesota.
Was it Minnesota?
It was the Minnesota Freedom Fund. And she promoted it on Twitter and got a lot of other people to donate. And in fact, that fund went on to release people that then committed murders.
Didn't they find bodies in the buildings?
Yeah, stuff like that. It was
burnt bodies in
excellent.
the burnt buildings, right?
Yeah.
Months later, I believe.
It is pretty amazing to see the fact that she dropped out, I believe, in December of 2019, polling at 3%.
Yeah.
The worst of any candidate in the race.
Yeah.
And the whole propaganda machine has a line behind her, and it's like revisionist history saying that she's so accomplished, she's the
Right.
best vice president ever. It's pretty fascinating to see how quickly that they
pivot.
They did it.
They pivot real
Yeah.
quick. Oh, she's brat. We like that,
Right.
right?
Oh, that
was-
she's brat.
she's so
That
brat.
was so
Daily,
exciting.
Daily
Right.
Wire had the meme where they're like, Kamala is Brett while Trump is Chad.
I'd rather hang out with Chad than Brat, frankly.
For sure.
I mean, I feel like Brat's gonna stick their fingers in your milkshake.
Is that something they do?
I don't know. I'm
milkshake.
envisioning that. Let me taste it.
Oh, I just thought you'd be like at Wendy's and you get a Frosty and they just go, and then you'd be like, why'd you do that? And it'd be like, F you.
It's those people that think they're really cute, but the only thing they are is annoying, and you want them to go away.
Is that what brat is? I haven't looked into it enough to
That's
see how
part of
how
it.
they define brat.
That, and it's like staying out all night with runny mascara and just not caring, and
Oh, right.
going home with
That is so
whoever
brat.
and
If
doing a bunch of cocaine.
Kamala wins, like, a lot of people have said, this is it. If Trump doesn't win, we're going to lose our country. No. If Kamala wins, the country is lost. Like, the simple
that's a
act
problem, yeah.
of an installed person winning the presidency would signify the death of the republic.
And you also have a situation where the Democrats clearly have absolutely no respect for the presidency at all, because they think a group of random people who've been appointed by a political party should be running the country, as opposed to someone who is actually elected by the American people.
Yep. Was Ford the last person to be president who was not elected by anybody?
And he didn't even run for a second.
I
Didn't he?
no, I think he
didn't?
did in
Yeah, he lost.
Yeah. To Carter, my history might be off.
I don't know. I don't have
I think he
that
did try.
history.
I think he did try running, and it didn't go well. But he pardoned Nixon,
That's
and people
right.
didn't like that either.
Well, don't you think Joe Biden on his way out, he's going to pardon Hunter Biden?
100%.
Hunter Biden's
Yeah.
going to be
He has to.
sentenced on November 13th, and Joe Biden's going to be like, hold on.
You know what would be like pretty base though? Is if like right before he's leaving, he's like, I want to give an address real quick about my son and about what some of these issues we're having, and then everyone's going to be like, he's going to issue a pardon, and then he just goes on camera and he goes, hey Hunter, F you.
Yeah, he's not going to.
Tough love.
Unless he
We need
has
that.
one
Luck.
of those moments
Right.
that people with dementia have where they just get really mean and angry all of a sudden, which happens.
Yes. What if he
might do
last
that.
minute means to pardon Hunter, but then pardons all the J6ers instead?
Oh my God.
By accident.
Yeah. Whoopsies.
Oops.
Somebody takes the Hunter pardon and slips in the J6 pardon and he signs it, not knowing what he's signing.
Right.
Or he
What am I
just reads
signing?
it off the teleprompter. He doesn't know.
Right. He literally has said in the past, I don't
I'm
even know
mad.
what I'm signing.
I'm mad because they took Biden away from us.
Yeah.
We were having fun,
Yeah.
and they took him away.
Yeah, we were having fun poking fun at Grandpa.
Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
video. We'll get to the video of Joe Biden walking on the airplane confused in a bit. But I will highlight this because I really don't want to talk about Kamala Harris as if I don't have to. But because, look, let me stress, my friends. I don't want to talk about Kamala Harris. She is like, it's a block of styrofoam. It's like putting a block of styrofoam on the stairs and then asking me to do a news show about it. And I'm like, ugh. But it is the Democratic Party's choice for the presidential election. And there's a lot on the line here. So to just add on to what does it mean that Kamala Harris is the nominee? It's a historic presidency. She's also her staffers lived in complete fear, were forced to stand and say, "Good morning, General," not allowed to look her in the eye, former staffer. You know, in that, I would just actually be very much entertained if she did get elected and became like this military dictator style president. But it's like Kamala, so it just feels like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it
Wears
is
like a little
weird that it's
military
an
outfit.
installation of a total nothing. You know, it's the installation of a paper president. And the reason for that, of course, is so that they can do whatever they want.
Right. She's a vessel, just
She's
like Biden was.
Yeah, she's just going to be a puppet. And since all she cares about is power, and all she has cared about is power since she was, on her back with Willie Brown.
Wow.
Well,
Wow, Libby.
that's really all
This
she
Friday
cares
night. Yeah.
about. You know what? It's Friday night.
Well, so
Been
Skylar.
made fun of all day by my kid.
Take it out.
Skylar in the super chat says that Roseanne won the bet. So the bet was between Michael Malice and Roseanne. Roseanne said there won't be an election, and Michael said, "Oh, please, yes, there will." And Michael later clarified that he meant quite literally whether it's a fake election, there will be some type of election. And I think Roseanne was saying it would just like there would not be a legitimate election.
This is not
Right.
an illegitimate election.
Yeah, and so the question then is, I think Michael Malice is going to stand on, no. There's two candidates and you're going to vote. This is an election. Just because it's rigged doesn't mean there's no election. But I do kind of think that that's not the spirit of what Roseanne's trying to argue. An installed person that no one voted for
No one
as the
voted
nominee
for. Not a single
is
vote.
not an election.
No.
They're forcing you
A
to
bunch
vote
of
for her. now.
coerced delegates. So all these people in all these states, 14 million people, voted for Joe Biden in their primaries, right? I disagree with their vote, but they voted for Joe Biden in their primaries. Those delegates who take those votes and then go to the DNC and nominate Joe Biden, that's their job. They have now betrayed every single person who voted for Joe Biden. Those delegates should be brought up on charges. This is not something that should be legal to be done.
Well, it's a private organization. The issue
But
though is
your vote isn't private. I mean, your vote is like.
for the DNC is not a public institution.
But what about
They can do
the?
whatever they want.
But what about the votes?
What
Like,
votes?
Don't they count the people that voted for Joe Biden? Don't those?
Oh,
count?
that's a private organization. They can do what they want. It's not public.
But
The primary process
but who runs the elections? The states run the election.
doesn't matter. DNC is private. The primary process. This is what happened with Bernie Sanders when the
Yeah.
superdelegates came in. They stress no, it's a private organization. They choose who the nominee is. The primary process is just for to be nice, I guess.
For
They can the
Gish and
DNC can do whatever they want.
So it's not a democracy.
so that's
Right.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
So basically, all political parties should be completely destroyed.
Well, that's why the founding fathers didn't like the idea. But the problem is with free speech, there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, and then wasn't it like Hamilton and Madison argued about political parties, and then they founded them?
I don't know.
I think
Is that
that's
how it
right.
started? I'm not sure. I just think it's an illusion.
All
where
ballots
people
blank.
show up, the elections are run, and the people in the private sector just manipulate it all.
Ballots should be blank. You walk into your polling station and they say, cast your vote. And you're given a piece of paper
And a pen.
and a pen.
Maybe
and
a
it says
Sharpie.
President blank. Vice, but it'll say President blank. And then it'll say Congress blank. And then it'll say Comptroller blank, Sheriff blank. And you got to write the name in. And you got to spell it right.
Ooh, even
What if you don't spell it right?
And it's gone in the garbage. You spell Trump with a D and call him Drump, out. You call him
Nobody
Bowden,
cute.
no good.
Bowden.
Bowden or by Dan, no good.
No cuteness.
No little
it's on
hearts.
the
If there's a
ballot.
heart over the I, now it doesn't count as an I. And if we had it so that ballots were only write-in, then it would be Trump would win, landslide victory, no question.
Well, everyone knows how to spell it.
Yeah.
And all you need it's just 5 letters.
It's not just that; it's that most of the Democrat voters and even a large portion of Republican voters just go in and they are, and then they
Correct.
walk out.
When I was in high school, I had a class called a politics class, and I thought it was going to be about political theory, but no, it was literally about local Philadelphia politics with Pat Reif-Snyder, wherever you are out there in the great beyond. You are remembered. Anyway, she talked to us about what you do when you go into the ballot box. And she literally said, and in Philly, you pull a lever and it goes, and she said, just pull the Democrat lever, just pull it straight down. That's what she said
That
to
was
do.
the whole
And I was
class.
like,
That's what they do in PA. They do the down
right.
ballot thing where
Yeah.
you can just be like D, and then you
the
walk
whole
out.
thing. You just pull the lever, just one lever at the top, or you could do all the little switches.
It's funny because the founding fathers were like, maybe we shouldn't allow political parties. All they had to say, here's the thing. It's like you can't think about, you don't know what you don't know. We didn't have ballots back then. When you voted, you literally wrote down the person. And then when parties started to form, they would give their party slip to people being like, here's the people you should vote for. Then we codified it at the state level that you show up and we tell you who the candidates are. That should be abolished. But I don't see us digging our way out of this. The country is run by the most ignorant and despicable, corrupt people for the lazy and the entitled.
I'm not saying this out of nihilism because I reject nihilism, but I kind of feel like the country's already lost and that we live in separate dimensions and that there's nothing any politician can do to bring that together. And it's going to take some time from the ground up to repair the mutilation of the country. I don't know, a country can help if we get, obviously I want Trump, but I think the problems are way deeper than just having a better president next.
I think the problems are when you degrade a system to a certain degree, it's unsalvageable.
Yeah.
And the problem we have is, for one, I think Social Security was the stupidest thing this country ever did. I think it's disgusting that so many politicians just they're like, oh, you can't touch Social Security. You mentioned that in a negative light and you're done. You'll never get elected. Yeah, because people want free money. I don't care if you're old and you need Social Security. It's no. We created this welfare program that basically said abolish the family. Did no one pay attention to what would happen if we subsidized the lives of people? They would not have families. So and perhaps that was the intended condition from powerful elites who are like, we want women in the workplace so they stop having babies and they double our tax revenue. We're going to create a welfare state for single moms so that destroys the family and makes people live under our boot. And then we're going to create Social Security so that families break up and people stop taking care of their parents.
But no one wants to pay for it. No one wants to pay for the system.
Right.
You shouldn't. You should pay for yourself.
But I'm saying the people that vote for it, they don't want to pay for it either,
Oh, right.
They vote for
But
it over and over, but they're like, oh, shoot, my tax bill is really high this year. It's like, yeah, that's what you voted for.
Yep.
It's because there's nothing you can do about the pressure of weak people. And so early on, look at the 17th Amendment. That senators used to be chosen by the state legislatures, and they would choose who would represent the state to the federal government. Hey, that's the smarter way to do it. That means people had to be tied to their state level governance and know who their reps were if they wanted good senators. And then they were like, nah, it doesn't work because cronies are just choosing their friends and there's corruption problems. How about we have the people of the state vote? No. We already have Congress. That's what Congress is. Congress represents the people. The state is represented by senators. So it's basically just lazy people who are like, we don't want to deal with hard work. Give me a short-term solution. And every time you enact a short-term solution, you create long-term crises. And that's what this country has done. We have stacked up all of the long-term crises, and now now the country is buckling under the weight, and we're sitting here staring down the barrel of it.
While the debt grows.
That's exactly
The
it. Though.
family-
Why is there a debt?
Right. Who knows? And we keep printing money.
Because we want
Money's
to
just fake
fund
now.
wars all over the world, and
Yeah.
like in Ukraine, and that's what we care about.
Yep.
As
Yeah, and like what you're saying,
You
the
know?
death of the nuclear family in America really was the beginning of the death of the country.
And Social Security is a huge component of that. Mm-hmm. I mentioned this. People are like, yeah, well, there's a lot of older people who don't have the support. What are they going to do? And I'm like, they have kids. What if they don't have kids? That sucks, doesn't it? Maybe you should have kids. Why did we create a system that incentivizes, defends the notion that an individual would grow into their old age without any kind of mechanism to support their own lives? Or that it's the burden of the rest of the country on those who can't support themselves? Do the math. You get to a point in your society where you have a large group of people who do not produce for that society, retirees, but the society is producing for them. And when the scales tip, your system implodes. Social Security is going to collapse in the next 7 or 8 years, or in the next 7 or 8 years, it is when it becomes, what do they call it? Only the money going in can go out. There's no more money left. It takes 4 young people to pay for one recipient of Social Security. The fertility rate is less than 2. The system will implode. And the reason the fertility rate is low is partly because of the welfare systems that say you don't need families, government will take care of you.
And then add to that what's going to happen when the second industrial revolution really takes off with the robots replacing everybody. Everyone's
Mass
sent
death.
home. Yeah, honestly.
Mass death, yeah.
Honestly. And it will be for various reasons. But I also imagine the loss of having any meaning in your life will lead to, a lot of drug use and dark paths.
Because before we destroyed the meaning of work, we destroyed the meaning of our souls.
Yeah.
And so now there's going to be nothing left. If you can't find meaning in, God or in a higher power or in your family or in your work product, then there is no meaning.
They're going to try to replace that void with the metaverse.
They already are, actually.
There's this... I don't know if you guys ever heard of SMBC Comics. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of really funny ones. And they put up one 4 days ago, and it's a spaceship heading towards this barren dirt planet. And it says, when we discovered how to live in virtual worlds, we escaped to fantasies as often as possible. The next panel shows a barren wasteland. As societies became more affluent and automated, it took less and less real-world labor to earn each hour of virtuality. As machines became more adapted to our brains, it became cheaper. Double perception of time than to double cheaper to double perception of time than to double productivity per laborer. Time may be a real quantity, but to a human mind, a minute of terror really is a billion times longer than a night of sleep. We soon discovered a way to give the sensation of infinite time, at which point there was a simple decision to make. Why spend a short life in a real world of sadness and absurdity when you could live forever in paradise? Dear traveler, please don't think ill of us. We are the last generation. And so the panel is an alien race coming to Earth, and you realize this at the end, and a monument erected by humans explaining where humanity went. That's a great comic.
That is a great comic. I've been thinking, too, the concept of the socialist utopia in the United States is one that everyone, all of the younger generations, believe in, regardless of what they think their political idea is. And that's why nobody wants to work. No one wants to try hard at everything. Everyone thinks that they're entitled to something. Everyone thinks that they're entitled to a lifestyle of leisure where they just pursue their own passions and somehow are fed for doing that.
Yeah, they had a moment.
Forgotten.
They had a moment 4 years ago where they locked down the world where you could, it was like test that world.
And they tested it out, yeah. And then you have the transhumanists who are going to push that all the way through.
I actually, look, a video came out. It was leaked. Josh Shapiro may be the candidate. We don't know. I think it's fake. I don't want to talk about it. I want to make fun of Joe Biden. So we have this clip. Check this out. Life is good, isn't it? Do you guys remember the good old days when Joe Biden was the nominee and we got to make fun of him?
You mean just a couple weeks ago?
Just a couple weeks ago. Watch this video. Here you go. Here's so some context. This is the prisoner swap. They get off the plane. You had Whalen and Gershkovich, and others too, I believe.
There were others, yeah.
And so here's Joe Biden with I believe that's Kamala Harris, isn't it? And here you go. Here's what happened. There's old Joe, bobbling about. What's this, Joe? Where you going? Oh, he's walking. Where's he going? He's not walking towards any individual. Oh, he's going on the plane.
He's saying hi to the pilots.
Is that what he's doing? He's just...
I think he figures there's a plane there, and so it must be for him.
I think he wanted to show off his new legs for the cameras. I can take these steps.
Yeah. Look at me. No, it doesn't matter anymore because he's not the nominee. He's out.
Right.
I don't even think he's the president at this point.
This is actually
he's
Kamala
definitely
shipping
not the
him off.
president.
But they're just staring at him going into the plane. And they said that he wanted to say hi to the pilots, but you don't see him turn left there. And then he's just in the plane. And he's in the plane for a little while, and
I'd like to see him take those stairs down. Can we see? Is there a video of that?
Then he comes down the stairs.
He made it.
Okay. Whew.
So I guess
himself to Kamala.
So everyone's like, what is he doing? It's an empty plane. Why is he going inside of it? And then the narrative now they're trying to put out is, oh, he's saying hi to the pilots. He just wanted to go say, howdy, Captain, and you want him to honk the horn or something.
We just wanted to watch.
Those are the good old days, man.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm going to retire.
You miss Joe.
Well, we used to make fun of him, and now it's like he's the president, but his brain don't work too good, and he's not doing anything, and Kamala Harris isn't doing anything either, and she was installed. You've got two individuals that are completely devoid individuals, and I think that's the point. Nobody cares about Kamala. Nobody wants to talk about Kamala. They're trying to see if they can get to the point in this country where they can install the political leader like China does.
And that's what they're doing.
That's right.
And that is exactly what Xi Jinping did as well.
And everyone's falling in line now. In a matter of what, a week? When was this decided?
Yeah, but like
everyone's falling in line already.
the Democrats are, but I wonder if the polling is real.
I don't know if the polling is real. My worry is that they're going to push this pundit-driven propaganda campaign to the point where it will seem inevitable that she wins the election, and then they can just steal it outright because everyone thinks that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And all they really need to do is get the Republican base to stay home. If the Republican base feels demoralized, then they'll just stay home and
But-
they won't vote.
I don't even know if that matters.
Yeah, I mean,
if-
it
how do
doesn't
you-
matter, but like those are the things that they can do. Steal it and get us all to stay home.
How do you defeat a political cult?
That's what's going on here.
If 10,000 individuals take it upon themselves, Democrat woman sitting in a polling location, and she's counting ballots, and she goes, Trump. No, I can't read it. Oh, Biden, that's a Biden one. Trump. Nope, can't read it. Garbage. What do you do?
That's what I'm saying about
You're not gonna go. The federal government's not gonna go and arrest 10,000 people in various. You can't track it down. It's impossible.
That's what I'm saying about being lost. It's like the same that the way you just said that makes me feel the same way I felt post-COVID trying to find a doctor, because there's doctors in the cult, and you can't trust these people because they're going to look at you a certain way if you give them an answer that they don't want to hear, because then they're going to see you like you're in a cult, and that is in every institution. It's in the colleges, it's in hospitals, it's in the elections, it's literally everywhere.
I had that issue with my kid's doctor. They came in and they wanted to give him a survey, and they didn't want me to be in the room while he took it. And I said, show me the survey first. And we got into a fight, and they wouldn't show me the survey. And I said, then he's not taking the survey.
I'm his parent.
He has not taken the survey.
Right. That's like something that would happen in California.
Yeah. And then they showed me the survey, right? And there weren't any freakish gender questions on it. And I was like, okay. And I showed it to Charlie, to my son. I showed it to him like, this is what the survey is. And then he took it and he said, there were a bunch of pages on that survey they didn't show you.
No way. And were they? Did he remember?
It was weird gender stuff and suicide stuff.
Yeah, they can't help themselves. They think.
And I was like, get off my kid! Get off my kid!
They
like,
think
this
they
is infuriating.
own
And that's
moral high ground.
that's not his doctor anymore.
And you're bad for even asking.
I was bad for
you're asking questions.
The
You're a bad
nurse
parent,
got
dude.
angry
Yeah.
with me. They almost didn't do just the regular appointment,
Yep.
which was like, oh, it's it's checkup season.
Yeah, we get looked at certain ways for wanting to have home birth and stuff like that, and doctors don't take you seriously. They think, once you say certain things like that, it immediately triggers in the cult brain that you're a bad person.
You're the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They immediately see you as the caricature of Trump and everything under that umbrella.
So this is important. Kamala is effectively winning in the polls. What we have here from RCP, and Daily Kos is a joke. Daily Kos Civics, I don't trust that. But to be fair, if Civics is conducting the poll at the behest of Daily Kos, then it's not that bad. But what is this? Rasmussen has Trump up 5, and then Harris is up 4. In a 9-point swing, like how do any of these polls make sense? Now, to be fair,
It's like a revisit of 2016.
since we actually got into the cycle, the polls, the larger sample sizes, and the newer polls show it's split between Trump and Harris. But so I basically, if you were to break it, actually, it's nonsense. It's noise. These aggregates are completely meaningless. We're seeing Kamala win in certain areas, but I'm wondering how much of this is even real. I'm assuming most of it's fake.
Do they not even ask about RFK Jr., or is he just totally out of the conversation?
No, they do. Yeah, if I pull up 538, although 538 is done as well, because they're just there's no presidential. Well, actually, they got a nominee now, so are they going to actually reignite those polls? As soon as there was no nominee, they said we're going to stop updating the presidential polling aggregates.
Right.
But this one, the latest one, they've got general election, Harris up 5. from RMG Research, and that includes Kennedy. And then you've got General Economist and Daily Kos. Harris is up 2 and 4. Then you've got General Election, Redfield. Harris is up 2. American Pulse. Harris is up 1. Then America Pulse has Trump up 1. And so I don't know, man. Here you go. Ledger has Harris up 7 points.
I can't remember who said it about the honeymoon phase with Kamala. Do you think that they're going to be able to maintain this mirage? I mean, because she's so unlikable.
I think the second they start really putting her front and center, it's not going to go well for her.
Right.
But they also are able to lie to themselves all the time.
And
So who knows?
the American people.
Yeah.
Of course.
You know, I still don't think she's going to be the nominee. Even
Really?
though they've
I think-
done all the stuff they say they got to do.
I think that is some wishful thinking.
She has to be.
Shane.
I
Yeah.
know.
The deadline
know.
for the ballots.
I don't think they care about deadlines or laws. I don't know. It doesn't seem, I can't imagine her going against Trump on a stage and them thinking it's a good idea.
Well, but she is already sort of making noise that she's not going to debate
Oh, is
Trump.
she? Oh.
Well, because
Well, that helps her.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that'll help me.
that
And
helps
she's
her.
like, "Why won't you debate me?" And when every time she says, "Why won't you debate me?" what she means is, "Why won't you debate me on September 10th with the debate that was set up by ABC for you to debate Joe Biden?"
Wow.
And she thinks that she should just slide right in there to everything that was already set up for him. Meanwhile, Fox has offered to host a debate on September 17th, and no one's agreed to that either. So, you know, I think that she feels that she can just avoid debating him altogether by refusing to debate him on any terms other than Joe Biden's.
Right. Well, it worked for Biden to campaign from a basement.
Yeah,
So
I mean, now
anything's
it's sort of
possible
clear
for her.
that Trump never should have had that debate in June.
I know, but that was beautiful to watch.
I know, but now we're screwed.
Well, yeah, but that's part of their plan, I
That
think.
was
Like
part
they
of
were
their
like, we got to
plan.
trot this guy
It was
out,
a tryout.
humiliate him. He's part of that's going to help us make him drop out, and we're going to install her. I just
Yep.
can't imagine her.
Trump should have said, no debate, sorry, have a nice day. And then Biden was failing in the polls.
Yeah.
But here's the issue. They still would have had to have pulled out Joe Biden. It just would have been more difficult.
But they would have come up with a way to do it anyway.
Right. I think the plan was to have Joe Biden out a long time ago. I mean, everybody was predicting this. The debate just helped them do it. If Trump didn't debate, they still would have pulled him out.
Yeah, it was very obvious the second he opened his mouth at the debate that this guy's not going to last much longer.
When he was talking about how he was fighting Medicare.
Everything
And
he
then
said.
Trump was like, you did beat Medicare, you beat it to death.
Well, and it was clear that I think it was it Tapper that was moderating? I think it was Tapper. It was clear that he was, covering up his shortcomings. And
Oh, they were helping with that.
100%,
They
yeah.
changed his camera.
yeah,
directed
no, they
him,
were
basically.
moving. Yeah, you're right. They moved the camera away when he had these
Mr.
moments,
Biden,
and
President Biden.
Yeah,
Let's get back on track, sir. Insane. But yeah, I don't know. I still just have a hard time, unless the other thing that comes to mind is the Time magazine article where they talk about the cabal. They've got all that in place. They don't really care who's in the face of their party because they'll do
Well,
whatever they want.
I'll tell you what's going to happen, dear viewer. It will be November, and you will wake up in your bed, and you will be rubbing your eyes, confused as you look outside, and then you'll look at your phone, and it's going to say 2020, and you're going to say, what? 2020?
What happened?
And then you're going to open your phone and pull up twitter.com.
Oh my God.
And it's going to say Donald Trump wins the 2020 election, and this past 4 years was all a bad dream.
The front of the paper is also saying that CERN was turned on yesterday.
It'll be
was all
just
a bad
like the
dream.
end of Newhart. Remember that?
Because I hate to
Great
do this to
ending.
you guys, but take a look at this one. We got this news from CNBC. They say Dow closes at 600 points down. It's terrible. NASDAQ enters correction after weak jobs report live updates. You know what's funny? It's horrible good news. Do you know why it's horrible news? Well, the stock market going down and a weak jobs report. The weak jobs report is bad. It's indicative of a weak economy, and that means people's bills is going to get higher. They're going to have a hard time affording things. Their small businesses won't see clients and customers, and this did impact the stock market. And so those retirement accounts are going down. And these woke leftists, they think the stock market means rich guys on Wall Street. No, it means people's 401ks and retirement plans. And then it's good news, because if this persists, Trump wins. So should we give a shout out to our good friend Bill Maher, who said, bring on the recession if it means Trump loses?
I don't think it would mean Trump loses a recession.
If the economy
Really?
gets bad, then the challengers get a major advantage. It's crazy when you look at macro politics. You can go to the individual and ask them a question, and they will give you a real answer. Most people might say, I'm not too sure about this one. I'm just not a fan of war. They might say, I don't know much about the foreign policy stuff, but what Donald Trump did in this policy or what Joe Biden did, you'll get a lot of people who don't know anything. But if 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 people don't know, don't care, it's just, if it's bad, I vote the other guy, that has a massive impact on the election. So just imagine this, the bell curve. And from slightly below average all the way to the top are all of the people. So let's say 70% of the bell curve, from like stupid people to geniuses, are all saying for one reason or more, here's who I'm voting for and why. The stupid people are like, I don't know nothing about politics, but Donald Trump got my job back. They had that guy deported from my factory. And you're like, okay, hey, that guy deserves his job, right? And then at the very bottom of the bell curve, the people who are as dumb as a box of rocks, they're like, the economy's bad, it's Biden's fault. Well, like, to be fair, it is. But then when Trump's in office, they go, the economy's bad, it's Trump's fault. And so they don't think about anything. They don't know or care. They just say, well, it's bad, I should vote for the other guy. And that is a large portion of vote swing. So you can pander to all the smartest people in the world you want, but all that matters is if 5% of people feel bad economically, they swing for the other guy.
Do you feel that it's too far gone in the country that a recession will swing that for people?
I don't know. I'm not great on economics,
Yeah, I feel like it's just so bad for everywhere I've gone in this country. The people
I do
are
know
like,
that,
you feel it.
I remember for a while there, every time I went to the grocery store, it would double.
Yeah.
And it would be like, oh, last week these same groceries were $25. Now they're $50.
Right.
And then it would be like, wait, last week these groceries were $50. Now they're $75.
Right.
And now I know that now when I go to the grocery store, I'll be like, can I get out of here for, less than $1.50? No, I've got a couple of yogurts, a bunch of veggies. I don't even buy, I stick to the outside of the store. I have some bread, some yogurt, veggies, that's
Right.
pretty much what I buy.
And then it's outside of all that. It's,
I'm not buying beer. I'm not buying anything fancy,
And if you're on city water at home, water is expensive.
My water is expensive.
Yes.
That's true. My water
Gas is obviously expensive.
You have expensive water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not on a well?
No, I have city water.
City water, huh?
And my bill last month was $130.
Wow.
Right?
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's like,
I thought that was really quite a
compared to what
bit.
I've seen.
but isn't it some of the most expensive in the country?
I don't know because I never had to pay for water before because I lived in New York City where everything was folded into my rent and my enormous taxes.
Well, you mean your landlord paid for it?
Yeah. So, I will say that in New York, my rent included my apartment, my heat, and my water.
The average national city
And my trash.
The average national city water bill is between $30 and $60 a month.
Yeah, so I paid $130 last month.
You live in a small city. It's not even a city.
It's
though.
a little
Small town.
tiny place.
Yeah.
It's a little tiny place, but I pay for everything. I pay for my trash. I pay for water, electricity.
We got a swimming hole, and we just get
Nice.
some buckets and we scoop it up and bring it inside and we cook
Put
our
it in
food.
the filter.
That's how you do it. No, we have a well, we have a pump.
Yeah.
And then
Well's the way to go.
we have a sulfur problem. So we had to get a crazy system. Didn't work.
Oh, your system didn't work?
So we got a bunch of different buildings where everybody works out of, and there's 3 systems. 2 of them are perfect, and 1 of them is not working at all. And for anybody, it was funny because people don't know this from the city. So we have guests come out here, and they'll go to the bathroom, and right when they walk in, they don't understand what they're smelling. They go, whoa, it's bad in there. And I'm like, bro, that's the water faucet. That is not the toilet. That is not somebody's business. That is just the water. Yeah, they're not used to going out to the country and having sulfur water. Yeah, but it's nothing that bad. It's just.
In Philly for a good period of time, there was sulfur in the water, and you'd walk in and smell it. You'd be like, "What devil house is this?" Oh, we're just in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I went to where was I? I think I was in Alaska, and their water was red in one area because of iron,
Interesting.
and it was like a yellowish tint, and it said, "Do not be alarmed. The water is not dirty. There's just a lot of iron in the water. Take it in consideration or whatever." I don't know what that means. I don't know if you weren't supposed to drink it or whatever. But anyway, back to the main point. The economy is collapsing. There are no jobs. The jobs report was really bad. What were they expecting? 175K, and it was like 114. And so
We're
in
at
response,
4.3, which is the worst it's been since October 2021.
If this keeps it up, then Kamala's not going to win. But that's the other thing about pulling Joe Biden out, because the argument is it's Biden's fault and Kamala will change it. What I don't understand, Kamala keeps running these ads where she's like, when I'm president, I'm going to fix the border. And it's like,
Why didn't you fix it now? You had the opportunity.
You're the vice president. Like, you're there. You're literally right there. What are you doing? She's just throwing Joe Biden under the bus every step of the way.
Mm-hmm. And she's had every opportunity, don't you think?
She's going to have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so unpopular right now. I mean, she's not more popular, but she's going to have to continue to throw his record under the bus.
But it's her record. I think we could do well by making her own that record.
Absolutely. But she's not going to.
I don't think any of it matters. She's an installed candidate that no one cares about. And then you've got these evil cult members that are just like, we need Chinese-style communists. They want Chinese-style communism in this country.
Mm-hmm. She's a photo op president. They'll get her in. They'll have lots of photo ops. She'll get all the covers of the magazines, and they'll sneak in all their crazy ideologies.
I think we need a mass manifestation. Do you guys know what manifesting is?
I mean, yeah, it's how we got Trump to dodge the bullet.
We need vision boards. Okay, so everybody out there, you make a vision board, and what you want to do is...
This sounds like an Oprah thing.
Absolutely, and everybody gets a free car. You go on the AI and you make it print up Donald Trump winning 2024 and you put it on your vision board. And then every night you go to sleep, you just focus and concentrate. And then one day you're going to wake up November 6th. You're going to turn the TV on and they're going to say Donald Trump is the 47th president of these United States. And he's going to come out and he's going to say, Kamala, she was terrible. Nobody wanted her. So she lost and it was really bad.
We did it, Joe.
And you're a single tear will come down your cheek. And then there'll be a ring at your door and you'll go. And there'll be a pizza man. And he says, Donald Trump has ordered everybody pizza.
Pizza Hut?
That's right.
That would
free
be
pizza.
amazing.
And and they turn
Big
the
Macs?
pizza around and you eat the crust first.
Probably
Big Macs.
He loves
Yeah.
McDonald's, yeah.
Big Macs.
He does love
Remember
McDonald's.
how everyone made fun of him for like pandering when he had a bunch of McDonald's in the White House to celebrate the NBA championship? And it's like, no, that's literally his favorite food.
Oh, he loves
That's
it.
what he wants.
and it's like, yeah, all the athletes came by and he had McDonald's everywhere and he was really excited.
But he loved it.
But the athletes loved it too.
Yeah.
They're like, McDonald's, cheeseburgers.
It's
I'd
cool to eat
prefer
McDonald's
Taco Bell.
in the White House.
Yeah, agreed. Taco Bell's better. Doritos Locos Tacos. Now they have the Cheez-It Crunch Wrap. You guys see that?
Nope.
No.
It's a giant Cheez-It. And then they put,
I heard about
Taco Bell has like 4 ingredients. And they just rearrange them in different ways and then sell them as different products.
And fry them a little different.
Yeah,
Now
I
let's
love
fry
it.
this piece now. Tomorrow
Yeah.
we'll fry the other
It's
kind.
crazy that they allow this stuff and they ban things like raw milk.
Right.
Yeah, like what do you have to
blows my
what
mind.
loopholes do you have to go through with meat and stuff? Are there crazy rules out there you got to work with?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a USDA inspected facility, so we have a USDA inspector there 24/7, and his primary job is to make sure that the animal is healthy and doesn't have any disease. Also to inspect the cleanliness of the facility, which we spend up to 2 hours a day cleaning. But I think that it's important to realize that a lot of these farmers and ranchers actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't need some bureaucrat coming in and telling them how to raise their
You
cattle.
don't need a babysitter?
Yeah, but
Federal
don't you
babysitter?
guys-
Right.
don't you
That's
guys
exactly what they are. They're federal
for sure.
babysitters.
Don't you guys remember it was like in Oregon where all the lawmakers were like, we're legalizing raw milk, and they all cheers, drank it, and then the next day they were all sick?
No.
Yeah.
I've been drinking raw milk for 8 years. I love
Oh,
it.
you can't do that.
I love it. There's
can't-
loopholes, Tim. There's
If you own,
loopholes.
you buy a co-op. You buy a piece of the cow, and then if you own, a piece of the cow, you're allowed to drink its
In
milk.
West Virginia, or in Virginia and West Virginia, I forget. I think it's both. It's pet milk.
Yeah, in Maryland they have pet milk, and it says not for human consumption. And then it's like you go to the farm and you watch a guy be like, "I'll take one pet milk and open it up and start drinking it."
I love it. I love raw milk. My
Yeah.
kids love it. It's the best.
But you should consider too. Pregnant women should talk to a doctor first. There are risks with unpasteurized milk and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yep.
expecting moms is very
Yep,
important.
got to be careful. I will say my pregnant wife has had raw milk through 2 pregnancies now, and all good. The stuff you get in the supermarket. I mean, look at the difference in eggs from Chicken City.
Oh,
The
yeah.
eggs in the market, completely different. It's like from a different animal.
Yep.
Completely different color. The meat,
Yeah,
you get from a
absolutely.
farm,
No, for
completely
sure.
different.
Yeah.
And that's why the state doesn't want you to have it, because it's actually good for you.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, one of the main differences, and this may be like too niche or detail-y, but one of the main differences between an operation like ours, where we, process local animals, and the grocery store meat, is that these big four packers, they don't let the meat hang and drain from all of the liquid.
Oh,
And
really?
Yeah. So if you ever buy burger in a grocery store, it's super watery.
Yeah.
Because they're churning through these animals so quickly at such a high rate that they don't allow the liquid to drain and the humidity to drain. And so we have a minimum of 14-day hang. So all of the humidity is exposed from the animal.
That's like why when you look at a lot of, like I'm thinking Korean barbecue recipes, you have to like rinse it and
Right.
then let it drain.
Yeah.
To get
It's
all
probably
of
'cause
that,
it's from the grocery
all of that
store.
stuff
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Did you have the farm pre-COVID, post-COVID?
Post.
Okay. I was going to ask, like, if
Yeah.
you've seen any difference in people's, I'll let Tim go.
No, we're jumping to stories.
I was going to say, have you seen any difference in people's, like, sensibilities towards getting supermarket as opposed to, like, a local farm meat?
I think there's been an explosion of interest
Yeah.
in the direct consumer because people don't trust
Yeah.
the meat that they're getting in the store, and they shouldn't really.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Yeah. I think it's only going to get more. And I encourage people all the time to go to find a local producer and support them. Whether you do like half a cow once a year, depending on the size of your family. But I always encourage people to do that because these are the people that are feeding us every single day.
I want to say we are blessed out here at Freedomistan because you drive down the road and there's a farm property that has water running through it on a creek. And on the right day, when you are driving down through the trees, because you are in a deep wooded area, you will turn the bend and there is water, and there will be a cow, maybe two, and a baby cow. And they will be standing in the stream, drinking the water, and they might look at you.
I pull over and
it
say
is
hi.
wholesome. That's right.
I make my
That is
kids say hi. I love cows.
Yeah, they
I
walk
love them.
over to you. So like, there's so many out here. If you like, I'll ride by my bike and I'll stop, and then they'll just like walk over and just stare at me as they're chewing the cud, and that's it. They don't do anything, and they're just standing there. But we are blessed.
Blessed.
Let's jump to this story from Yahoo Sports. Angela Carini, Italian boxer in middle of gender firestorm, offers apology. All this controversy makes me sad.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Does anybody who was criticizing me the other day over my stance on this, how about you? How about you super chat me because I was right, and everybody who agreed with me, you don't have to because you already did. I said this. She had already offered an apology, or not an apology, but a statement of support for the male boxer. And then I said, I will not support anyone, be it the woman in the ring or otherwise, who's defending males boxing women. And then I had these people being like, Tim's being hyperbolic and not really addressing the issue. I'm like, no, this woman outright said, I hope the male makes it to the end and is happy. And now you've got this. In a story published Friday, Angela Carini told Italian sports daily La Gazzetta dello Sport that she regrets not shaking Khalif's hand Thursday before leaving the ring. It wasn't something I intended to do. Actually, I want to apologize to her and everyone else. I was angry because my Olympics had gone up in smoke. Carini added that if she and Khalif met again, she would embrace her. So, well, there you go. Everybody immediately saw this fight as a female who didn't want to fight a male and was upset that she was fighting a male, so she bowed out. Then there were some questions about developmental sexual disorders and that Khalif, while male, may have been raised female, which changes very little about the issue that we're dealing with and is only exploited by people who want to allow males to fight. Carini initially didn't shake hands, pulled her hand away from the ref, bowed out after 46 seconds, and everybody ran to Twitter to say, I stand with her, I stand with her. 50 million retweets, hashtag I stand with Carini. She had said within like an hour after this fight, I hope Khalif makes it to the end and is happy. And immediately I was like, okay, well, she doesn't get any support from me. I don't want to see guys boxing women. I think that's bad. But all these conservatives were like, nope, this poor woman. And now here she is. Thanks for all the money. And I can respect what Lauren Boebert was trying to do. But Lauren Boebert raised lots of money on her behalf. She's also going to be getting, I guess, what were you guys saying? That she's going to be getting the equivalent of first prize paid by
Yeah, who
Italy?
was saying that? Were you saying?
Ellen was saying it.
Yeah.
From the international boxing, whatever the organization is, they were going to match her her
Yeah,
loss.
it's like International Boxing Committee, IBC, if I'm not mistaken. Something
Right.
like that.
So she'll be fine. She's going to get all the money she would have had anyway.
And then she comes out and she uses that support and that energy. And congratulations, you're now supporting someone who is advocating against your desires and against your wishes. And I was right. I don't know what to say. People didn't want me to be right or whatever. But here you go. Here's $63,638 pledged to a woman who is defending males boxing women. Why did conservatives just raise $60,000 for a progressive feminist who supports men and women's
They're
sports?
so quick to make a victim so that they can champion. Just like the left is so quick to make a victim that they can champion. It happens, and they're constantly doing this, and it's very aggravating.
Well, now we have this video from End Wokeness. It just happened again. Lin Yu Ting, a biological male, just won the women's boxing match. It's tough because a $100 bet netted you only $6. So I just really didn't care to bother to even bet, but it's free money. It's free money. And there it is.
Impressive on the front and back foot. Lin Ting. She'll be to the quarterfinals.
That's a fella.
Job done.
That's a biological male.
It's just straight up, dude. The other one was
Looks like
like,
a fella.
and
No, they
debate
all
it.
look fella-ish.
But here's the issue. They were ousted, these two fighters were ousted for failing a gender test of having male testosterone levels and XY chromosomes. The Olympics was like, well, their passport says female. And the argument is Algeria and Taiwan do not have transgender manipulation, so they're assuming it's some kind of developmental sexual disorder. I'm like, all of that is speculative nonsense. What's the official reporting? Biological males with male testosterone were shut out of the world championships for being male. And the Olympics said, we didn't check, we didn't test, we're going to assume it's fine.
It's like looking at the Wikipedia these days to make sure the person's boy or girl. Because
Yeah, that's not gonna
Wikipedia's
do it.
been consumed by ideology, as has most of these states and governments.
Holy crap, Italy pays Olympic athletes $200,000 for a gold medal.
Wow.
Wow.
I wonder if she wanted to stay in for her dad.
Let me see. Yup. Here you go. Angela Carini to be awarded prize money by IBA despite Olympics loss to Iman Khalif. So they're saying it's going to be $50,000.
That's crazy.
Rewarding. It's a participation trophy.
Yeah, trophy culture.
Yeah.
Gender row. The IBA, which was stripped of its international recognition, said Carini would receive $50,000. Her federation a further $25,000, and her coach an additional $25,000. So $100,000 awarded to her and between her and her team. I do not understand why they killed women's boxing. IBA President Umar Kremlov said, only eligible athletes should compete in the ring for the sake of safety. I could not look at her tears. I am not indifferent to such situations. This is the same thing. This is the same thing as the conservatives. They're not giving her the money because she fought well or whatever. They're doing it because they're like, this poor woman was forced to fight a man. And now where are we at? A woman who chose to fight the male, claimed she bowed out because her nose hurt too much, cried, and the assumption from everyone was that the man was too strong and she refused to fight because she didn't want to fight a man. And that's apparently, you can make up any story you want. The official narrative from Carini is her nose hurt, the punches were strong, so she dropped out. She then praised Iman Khalif. The next day apologized, said she would embrace her, had previously said that she hopes she makes it to the end. So why is she getting $111,313 Why is she getting $100,000?
I don't get it either. Also, has she never been punched in the nose before? I mean, she's a boxer.
Right.
Hasn't she had intensive fights before? She made it to the Olympics.
Right.
You'd think that she's been
first
in
time.
altercations.
She went right to the Olympics.
But this might have just been her first fight ever.
straight shot.
I mean, I've been punched in the nose before, and I've never even been fighting anybody on purpose. You know what I mean? Like,
Do
I
tell.
stood up after. You know what I mean? Like,
So what? We got one. Cade super chatted because this is another talking point that there was never any real evidence of the XY chromosome test or whatever, and it's just like, listen. Live in whichever reality you choose. Is what do you call it? Reality buffet.
That's right.
The story is two fighters Iman Khalif and Lin Yuting were disqualified from the World Championships because they failed a gender test. Believe whatever you want to believe. They both look very masculine. I don't know. Believe whatever you want to believe. The idea that there's DSD is speculative. Nobody knows that. We don't know anything other than two fighters who had been previously disqualified for failing a gender test are competing in the Olympics. And there you go. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say if someone is XY with male levels of testosterone, they don't get to be fighting in the women's division. That's just it. I don't know. What other criteria do you need?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, congratulations, conservatives. You keep this up, and we'll get more men in boxing. Carini is going to use that money and continue to publicly speak in support of men fighting women. So, there you go. Hope it was worth it.
Both sides are so desperate to have their victim that they just leap to these conclusions, and it doesn't matter. And it just spirals out of control. And it'll get worse. Like, I wonder what the next Olympics will have. More of this, right?
More of this, and more trans, definitely more.
And an even
trans.
worse opening ceremony. And it'll be in Los Angeles,
Right.
So,
this is gonna get
Hollywood is going to get involved.
Right.
They have terrible ideas about everything.
Right. It'll be Scientology.
It's the Olympics in Los Angeles. It's going to be like fourth dimensional drag show. It's going to be like time
Dimensional drag.
Yeah,
show.
they're gonna.
I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be wokeness times 10,000.
Yeah.
I don't know if it could get any worse.
Oh, it'll get
You don't
worse.
think so?
Have you
I
ever seen a
don't
Lil
know.
Nas X video?
Oh my goodness.
Just wait for that.
No, him and Sam Smith, they get
Exactly.
together.
JoJo Siwa.
The whole, yes, of
Yeah.
course.
And Kamala.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to do live abortions right there in the Hollywood Bowl.
Honestly, don't give them that idea, Libby. They literally are taking that idea down seriously.
They're going to love it.
They're going to turn that into an Olympic sport.
They're going to simulate
with
it.
these people.
It'll
They're
be
so
a
sick.
dead drag baby.
Yeah, great.
Jeez.
Looking forward to that deranged spectacle.
Well, have you seen the fashion show where the individual was wearing an active abortion or whatever?
Yeah.
I did
Or no,
not
it was a
see that.
mastectomy. It was a mastectomy.
An active
Well, I thought there was a
mastectomy?
person that pulled something out of them.
What do you mean? An
There
active?
there was a fashion show where the person came out and they were like robotic hands cutting the breasts off.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. So imagine a lot of that marching down the street.
That's
for
what
kids.
everyone
It's kind of
wants
wild that they turned mastectomies into basically like getting your ears gauged.
Well, or like prior to ugly being the thing that everyone strove for, it was beauty, and part of beauty was having large breasts. So you had 16-year-olds were getting breast enhancements,
Right.
which also is pretty evil.
Oh, they went
I mean,
went
it's
the-
all
the other
evil,
direction.
like-
The Erin Moriarty memes have not stopped. So do you guys remember this story? She's the actress who's in The Boys. She plays Starlight. And when she posted this photo of herself after what appears to be plastic surgery, a meme went viral of guys being like, why are women doing this to themselves? Because she looks terrible. And then Megyn Kelly mentioned it on her show. She gets super mad, takes her Instagram down, and she's like, I didn't get any surgery. I didn't get work done. It's just my contour. I got my contours done, makeup or whatever. But people then started posting time lapses of like the past few years. And it's like, yo, they're about plastic surgeons who are doing these videos on TikTok where they're like, no, she got buccal fat removal. She got this done. And then when season 5, was it season 5 they're on or 4?
They're on
season 4 of The Boys came out. That's when it was like, oh yeah, she got surgery. Like she can't even talk properly. Her face, like she talk.
Why do people do that to themselves?
They're keeping up with Instagram filters.
I have no idea.
Yes, I don't understand it. And also the buccal fat thing, like
What is that?
That's like when you
It's
have
one of the most
fat removed in
disgusting
your
things I've
Jeep.
ever seen.
And what's going to happen is then you're going to look like Skeletor or
Right.
like that
You mean
Red Death guy.
They do look like
They do.
a Red Skull.
Yeah, Red Skull. But like as soon as you're actually old, you're going to look so bad.
They look bad now.
They look bad now. They're just going to look even worse. Like it's bad enough to be an old lady without
Dude.
having
was gonna call
done
them
everything
scary-
possible to
Who
make
is
yourself
convincing
look worse
women to do this, and
older.
why do women think
I
it looks
don't
good?
understand that either.
Is there-
as a woman, do you understand this? Who is doing this?
Is there a celebrity promoting that? I only asked that because when I managed a tattoo shop for a long time, and we would constantly get waves of people coming in wanting the tattoo that a certain celebrity had. So like Rihanna had a tattoo.
Really? Why?
Everyone came and wanted
would
the same
find that so
position.
weird.
It was weird. I thought so.
Because it's permanent. It's
right.
not like I'm going to buy like the underwear that
The
Rihanna sells. or
Kardashians
whatever.
were doing the butt implants. Everyone started doing that, So there's always somewhere.
Remember those people who were injecting cement into their butts?
I saw
and
the
then they were
stories.
like, "Oh, this hurts now," and it's
Someone
like,
died.
"That's because you put cement
Someone
in
died.
your butt."
Yeah, you're a road.
Yes, you're a road. Exactly.
This
There's
I think
so many good jokes to go with that comment.
This I think exemplifies women women are competing with women.
Yes.
Women don't go to men and say, "What should I wear? What looks good?" They go to other women. And so there's that viral meme where some woman tweeted, "Male privilege is being able to wear the same thing every day and not having anyone care." And then this guy responds with, "There is not a single man on the planet who cares if you wear the same cute dress twice in a row. It is other women who will get mad at you."
Do you remember though that Seinfeld where Jerry Seinfeld is going out with this girl who wears a two-tone dress and it's white on top and black on the bottom, and he meets her and she's wearing that dress, and then they go out for a date and she's wearing that dress, and then they go out again and she's wearing that dress, and then he's like, "Oh my goodness, why is she? I've never seen her in anything else other than this dress." And he goes over to her house and she spills something. He accidentally spills something on her so that she has to change her clothes, and then she's like, "No, I don't even want to go at all." And as he's leaving, he goes, "But don't you want to go out? Why do you keep wearing the same dress?" And he never gets to know.
I don't think any
wow.
guy actually. Now, I guess for a dress,
It's a good plot for a sitcom.
I mean, after 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
it's weird for
It
sure.
was just the same dress.
Yeah.
I don't know that most guys would notice.
It wouldn't
if it was
bother.
if it was like a very.
I mean, it looks good on her, so why
but
would she even
if
care?
it was like a tie dye '80s pastel,
It's like I love Kamala Harris on it.
yeah, and they wore it all the time, you'd notice. But like guys put on whatever, like you could just imagine what guys wear. It's probably like some like, I don't know, folded sleeves, button up, open with a t-shirt and a beanie or something, and then that's like all they
I
wear.
wonder where you'd
I've
come
seen
up
that
with
look.
that.
I've seen that look.
I don't know anyone who would do that every day.
But anyway, my point is, women go on Instagram, look at pictures of women, and say, "I need to look like her." Erin Moriarty is looking at these other celebrities and thinking, "I need to look like them," and guys are going, "That's nasty."
It's like Ozempic face too.
Ozempic face is weird.
Isn't
What's
that kind of doing
Ozempic
the same
face?
thing? It's like people taking Ozempic and they all get the same like sunken.
Oh, really?
And then they get
skeletal
their
face.
eyes like popping
crazy
out like
thing is-
Graves' disease. It's
The
weird.
crazy thing is not just how it affects their facial features, but their voice too. Because they talk like this, He-Man.
Do they?
With the
Yeah.
Ozempic,
Because like
really?
Skeletor,
kidding.
they turn into Skeletor all of a sudden. Yeah.
would believe
I
you.
wish that was the case.
They turn into skeleton. Beastman.
Yeah, easy tell. Like, oh, they're on Ozempic. Skeletor voice. Yeah.
They just become Skeletor.
And then they
Skeletor,
break into
but
the
wait,
Batman
wasn't
dances.
Skeletor like ripped?
He's
he's like-
Yeah, but also
skull ripped with
skullish.
skeleton ripped.
No, no,
yeah.
but like he's super muscular, but his head is just the skull.
Yeah, 80s classic 80s cartoon physique. Yeah.
But anyway,
days.
I mean, I think when you look at social media, TikTok, this is the threat of algorithms mostly on women that men don't experience at the same degree. It affects depression rates. It affects even we mentioned several times the young girls who are developing Tourette syndrome from watching a girl on TikTok or on Instagram, whatever, with Tourette's. So I don't know what the solution is to this problem, but I suppose at the individual level, keep your kids off social media.
I think I'm the only person that goes on Instagram to relax because it's all I have all like recipes and weird art projects and things that are like, you're okay, everything's fine. I'll be like, oh, good.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
My
that's
algorithm
it.
is
That's
just
all I
like
have on
war
Instagram.
and kill Tony.
I have none of that. I have none of that. Sometimes I get Dave Chappelle clips.
That's good.
Yeah.
You need the
lightens
laughter.
it up.
Dude, I hate Instagram. I absolutely hate it because they'll try to suggest things to you. Did you ever see those videos they'll send you where it's like they'll send you weird body stuff like a Q-tip being used or zits being popped and things like this? Has that happened to you guys?
No, I don't see
They send
that.
me that. I immediately block it and I block the account and I flag it and say, why did you send me that?
Yeah.
I watch skateboard videos, scootering videos, and Magic the Gathering and poker.
Right.
And those are the only things I click on. But what they constantly will put in my feed is going to be rarely it's the weird stuff. Like recently they sent me one where it was like a parasite being removed.
Oh, my
Yup.
goodness.
And then but they always send me hot chicks bouncing their butts and stuff like this.
Right.
I don't get any of this.
Well, they
Yeah.
know.
No
They know.
parasites,
They know
no
you don't want
butts.
that. They're like, Libby needs the recipes. Just keep her calm.
I get a lot of like, this is how
What
you
they're-
make vegan zucchini falafel. And I'll be like,
get
that
it.
looks good.
I get a lot of these 4chan posts. The 4chan green text because I love reading these.
Interesting.
And what it does is it tracks what you look at and how long you look at it. But what it also does is tries to mix things up because it wants to see if it sends you something else that's related, will you look at that or click on it? And so a lot of it's just like XKCD, like for me, skateboard videos, almost always skateboard videos. And then periodically, they just put like weird hot chicks doing stupid things. But that's probably because guys always click on that stuff.
I finally whittled my algorithm down to understand me, and it does get me. And it's like mostly Pantera videos now too, which I'm really proud of. A lot of Korn, a lot of metal, and it's live videos from back in the day or 90s hardcore. So I'm like, okay, we can coexist now. Instagram.
So check this out. This one is a ball, but it creates 2 new ones when it escapes until my PC crashes. You ever seen these?
Yeah.
I have no idea why it's sending me this. You guys want to hear a crazy story?
Yes.
Dude. So we went to, what is it, Apple Blossom Mall or whatever in Winchester? Is that what it's called?
No idea.
Alan's shaking his head, yes. And I don't play table tennis, ping pong. Never really played. I have no idea what the rules are. I've seen tables around. We've bounced the ball and played. And I was going there because I was trying to pick up some wheels for my skateboard. And we got there 10 minutes early. So Allison and I, we were just walking through the mall. And sure enough, in the back of the mall, there's table tennis. Neither of us said any words. Neither of us went, oh boy, into our phones. It's table tennis. How about we play a game? We literally just walked over. I had a yerba and I put it down. And then I grabbed the paddle. And then Allison went over, grabbed the paddle. And I was like, do you know the rules? And she was like, yeah, I think it's first to 21 or something. And I was like, I don't know. Okay, whatever. And then we played for about 5 minutes. And then I was like, okay, whatever. We're done. We walked away. Later in the day, I opened my Instagram. And it's recommending like 10 or 15 ping pong videos.
Yeah, I've had this happen.
Like, what?
Yeah, that happens.
And I opened it and I put not interested. Why'd you send me that?
Stop spying on me.
It's because
Yeah.
it was listening.
Yeah, they're hearing
Listening
it.
to what? The sound of a table tennis game happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that the advertising algorithm has gotten that smart, where it can even geolocate you and be like, okay, he's here, this table's here, the sound is this, put it together. All right, send him the ad. That's how it's going to be.
This is what's really creepy to understand is like when you go to Instagram and you refresh, what's happening is you as an individual don't matter. But 10 million people scrolling through all the videos and then choosing what they like is telling the AI what humans like, where, why. The data they're collecting, nuts. They're going to be like, in this region of the country, people sure do love this, like skateboarding. And they'll be able to map out what people like, and they'll correlate it to what's going on in that region.
They do that when they come out with they'll come out with little reports about what the top Google searches in all the states are.
How
Which I
is it
always
legal?
click on that. Well, it's legal because we haven't passed any laws against it. That's why it's legal. Anything's legal unless we pass a law against it.
How do you regulate
Part.
that?
But I've had things where I'll be thinking about socks, just thinking about socks, and then I go look at my phone for something not sock related, and it's just all socks.
Well, I think the algorithm is also psychic.
The algorithm is in my brain, and I don't even have Neuralink.
Just wait until you do.
Well, I don't want it, Shane.
It'll happen.
Don't get it.
You can't do anything about it.
No, reject
there's
it.
nothing you can
Reject.
do.
Do you have a rotary phone?
No, but I've been recently thinking that
About
what I
getting
would
one.
like, not just a rotary phone, but like I used to have this big old green phone in my room when I was a teenager, and that was my phone, and it was a wired phone. But anyway, I've been recently thinking that maybe I would like to get a proper old phone.
Just a landline.
Just a landline.
Like a singular rocker,
yeah.
a candy bar phone with
Yeah.
the speaker on it. You could play MP3s.
We know the CIA can tap into it either way. They can do these.
Honestly,
They can do our
just
phones.
like
They can do those.
one of those old heavy phones. I mean, it had a nice weight to it. You could use it as a door stopper. I mean, this was like steel.
Are you gonna start faxing
This is,
again?
my first apartment in near my college in Yonkers, New York. My first apartment, it had one phone in it, and it didn't have any phone jacks. It just had one phone that was on the wall, and it said "Property of Bell Telephone." And it was this old building, unrenovated, pre-war. I mean, it was literally the best apartment I've ever seen in my life. It's my favorite apartment I ever had. I would have carried it all around the country with me if I could, but you could not put in any other phones. And this was the only phone you could use. And it was in the kitchen. Wow. And you couldn't attach a voicemail thingy to it. Answering machine, that's what those were called. You couldn't attach one.
Brylan Hollyhan was on, and he was mentioning that he's 18. He said him and his friends have just started getting rid of everything. They're getting rid of social media, and they're just texting now.
He has records, he was saying.
And it's not like, he's not saying that they've went, hey guys, let's delete Snapchat. It's just they stopped using it, and then nobody's using it anymore, so they're just texting now. and it was more of like, it seems like more of an emergent thing.
I think that's the future of the counterculture.
I certainly
with a lot of
hope
kids.
Yeah, but the problem is what we're going to end up seeing. There's going to be two societies. There's going to be the Morlocks of the internet who live inside all day, and they come outside disheveled, probably overweight or gaunt. And there's going to be regular people who, and then what's going to happen is the Morlock people are going to be like, don't you know what Joe Biden said today? And the guy like working his garden is going to be like, I was in the garden. I have no idea.
They're going to exist in a totally different place. It's like a deranged digital version of the Amish that you're going to be like, oh, those people just live like that in those computers.
There are sci-fi and speculative fiction projections of things like that. Those kinds of dualities.
I think we're close.
Yeah.
Honestly, especially with the Neuralink happening.
Yeah.
They'll be able to just live and do everything. Marry through that and never meet the other person.
Never touch.
Well, that was that comic I was reading earlier.
Right.
That once they can expand the perception of time, then humans just say, I'm going to go in here and live for eternity.
That'll be like the cheap version for the transhumanists. You know, they will have successfully turned
no touch. You're just wearing like a weird
blue collar transhumanist
nerve suit.
But you're just in the metaverse, whereas the real transhumanists will be, patrolling the wasteland of Earth.
Eating nuts and berries.
Let's jump to the story from SCNR. In reversal, Kyle Rittenhouse endorses Trump following widespread backlash from MAGA voters. So this is the video, I guess, the official statement from Kyle Rittenhouse. This is the first one he made, I guess. Let's play the video and hear what the young man Rittenhouse has to say.
I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, Outreach Director for Texas Gun Rights. A lot of people are upset that I said I'm going to be writing in Ron Paul for President of the United States. And that is true. I will be writing in Ron Paul. Unfortunately, Donald Trump had bad advisors making him bad on the Second Amendment, and that is my issue. If you cannot be completely uncompromisable on the Second Amendment, I will not vote for you, and I will write somebody else in. We need champions for the Second Amendment, or our rights will be eaten away and eroded each day. I support my decision, and I have no takebacks.
And then he immediately took it back. So apparently, it's the Never Trumpers who went to him and told him bad advice. They said Trump was bad. Trump had bad. The bump stock ban was bad for sure. But certainly, what are you gonna? You're gonna let Joe Biden, or I'm sorry, you're gonna let Kamala Harris win? She said that in the primary in 2019 that the first 100 days, if they don't start restricting guns, she'll use executive action to take it. However, as much as I am deeply critical of Kyle Rittenhouse's decision to vote for somebody else, I believe the correct response would be, Kyle, you're incorrect, and perhaps we should have a conversation, come on the show and talk about the issue. And perhaps the issue is, the solution here is not to say don't vote Trump, it's to pressure the Trump campaign and his allies that if they want our votes, they have to give us a better record on gun rights. And I guarantee you, Donald Trump Jr. came on the show and he said, it's probably time we pardon Julian Assange. It's like, oh, wow, that's a big statement. I asked Donald Trump about it. He says, we're giving it very serious consideration. And then Joe Biden panicked and got him out. So fine. So be it. Apparently what happens then is some of the, most ardent Trump supporting individuals basically went after Kyle. Cat Turd says, after all what President Trump and his supporters did for him, unfollowed, forgotten, backstabber, sellout. Martha Bueno said, this kid is a point. He's holding Trump to account, and I have no issues with that. If we all did that, maybe we wouldn't have the crummy politicians we do. The solution to this is for Trump to promise to uphold the Constitution and repeal all bad gun laws. Cat Turd said, unfollowed. Arnold Lane says, you're just as cultish as the left, like there's no room for discussion on Trump's record. Trump has his cult members. Gunther Eagleman says, Kyle might have well stated he's voting for Kamala Harris. A write-in vote for Ron Paul is essentially the same thing. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. Brendan Dilly says, neither one of you F-heads matter. Jeez.
So much for free speech.
We had, Salty Go says, okay, WTAF, we all supported this little, jeez. I'm not going to read that.
The right is not immune to struggle sessions.
Now he's talking about writing in a candidate. F you, Kyle Rittenhouse, you ungrateful little POS. And this is little prick literally reading a script, probably.
He definitely was reading a script.
Chad Prather says, okay, oh, well, Kyle, I read to inform you that I will no longer be one of your guests on September 12th at the Texas GR event. I reckon you can write in someone else. This is not the way, bud. DC Drano says, I sincerely hope Kyle knows a vote against Trump is effectively a vote for Kamala, and Kamala wants to seize your gun. So I'm not sure where the logic is. I believe he's being influenced by a severe Trump hater. I actually think that DC Drano tweet was pretty good. I think that's the appropriate response.
Yeah.
Is to be like, dude, not okay. But I got to tell you this. If I was going to do an event with Kyle and then he said this, I'd still do an event with Kyle. If he was going to come on the show and he said this, I'd be like, oh, great, come on the show and we'll talk about it. I bet I can convince you otherwise. It is insane how he got absolutely roasted. Some Trump supporters saying they wish he would have been found guilty. Wow. Joey Manarino says, at this rate, I wish they would have found him guilty. So many people wasted money and time on him. And he does this to us? No, F him and the horse he rode in on. What the hell?
Is that a troll account?
And then Kyle, after the struggle session, says, over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of Trump's team. And now it's loading. And I'm confident he will be a strong ally. Gun owners need to defend our Second Amendment rights. My comments made last night were ill-informed and unproductive. I'm 100% behind Donald Trump and encourage every gun owner to join me in helping send him back to the White House. Absolutely pathetic display from Trump supporters on this one. You deserve every criticism of being a cult member for going after Kyle Rittenhouse this way. Kyle was never a stringent conservative. He was a kid who was trying to protect his community, and he had a circumstance thrust upon himself. He defended himself, and we were all grateful that he was found not guilty because of what the ramifications for this country would be. He owes me nothing. He owes you nothing. He does not need to vote for anybody. I'd be disappointed if he didn't vote for Donald Trump, but I respect his choice. He was never a Trump supporter who was facing death. He was a regular kid trying to help his neighborhood, and he's never been big in politics. Now, that being said, it's a mistake for Kyle to jump into politics with not knowing it. We've had him on the show before, and he plainly was just like, I don't know a lot about this stuff. I'm just a kid, man. And we were like, totally get it, totally respect it. For them to go at him this hard is just despicable.
Yep. Pushing him further and further away and other people further away. I think it's silly to see the right do these struggle sessions. They're crybabies, just like the left. Honestly, I don't care about any endorsement of any politician. I don't care about politicians, and I just think it's ridiculous to then lose your stuff when someone you supported supposedly goes against the way you want to vote.
This is the thing, man. I've said this before, and I will say it again. I have been the enemy of the left, the enemy of the right, the friend of the left, the friend of the right. And I guarantee you, as time goes on and the tribalism happens, you will see everyone in this room shifting in some degree or another. Occupy Wall Street loved it when I was sharing news and information that was getting them a lot of attention, which they utilized to make money. And then they hated it when I filmed their extremists deflating police tires. And then they were like, whoa, you got to stop filming us, man. What are you doing? Whoa, we didn't realize you were going to do that. I had all these people on the right attacking me, calling me an Occupy leftist and things like this. And then after Occupy Wall Street, I go and I report on things and do everything I've always done. And all of a sudden, the people on the right are like, oh, this guy's actually a real journalist. He's doing a good job. I'm like, so there you go. And I fully expect, if this is the attitude you have for some of the most prominent Trump supporters, do not be surprised when they're like, we don't like Tim, we never liked him, blah, blah, blah.
I'm voting for Trump, but if he gets in office, if they don't totally take it away, I'm going to hold him accountable for everything, just like I would hold Kamala and Biden accountable. Just because they get in doesn't mean now I just cheer him on. He's a politician. He works for us.
Kyle made a big mistake. I don't know who was advising him, but they were exploiting this young man who is not well-versed in politics. And it's unfortunate because there was a real opportunity here. If Kyle Rittenhouse made a video instead where he said, I have deep concerns that Donald Trump will not be a strong enough ally on gun rights because he had banned bump stocks before. Now, that got overturned. However, I want a commitment and I want to see real efforts in his current campaign and a promise that he's gonna enact these things that will protect our rights, repeal bad gun laws. So you should all stand with me in calling for the Trump campaign. Every Trump supporter would have been like, absolutely 100%. I think the issue is Kyle came out pretty strong with no takebacks. Right. I stand by this. I will not vote for this man.
He was clearly coached, though.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't write that.
No, he was clearly coached. Yeah.
That's the problem.
But I think people definitely need to be more honest and have an adult conversation about changes that need to be made, or suggestions on policy decisions, and not this blatant, support all the time. It's important to have, an open society. We believe in free speech, so we might as well say what we want to say, and
people just want to hear what they want to hear. Comforting lies, man.
Yep, they like echoes.
Yeah. So, Kyle probably should not wade into heavy politics, but you shouldn't attack him. I am not so mad at the angry Trump supporters who feel betrayed, because I can understand why they do. I think their responses are inappropriate. But the ire that I feel is towards the people manipulating Kyle Rittenhouse to make him make that statement.
It did look like a hostage video.
Yeah. Yep.
While he's reading it, like, this kid did not read. Like, we did the show with him. He's a nice kid, but he definitely doesn't know a lot of stuff politically. I don't think he follows it. Right. There was a lot of stuff we were like breaking down, which is cool. He's young, so like that. When I see that, I'm like, that's not his words.
Yep.
Too bad.
Man, Kyle. Maybe we should have him come on the Culture War podcast to talk about the Trump administration, gun rights. What we need is a Trump advocate, Kyle Rittenhouse, and a never Trumper.
Yeah. And Ron Paul, maybe. We'll get Ron Paul.
Ron Paul's too old.
He's so great.
No disrespect. It's really hard for him to travel. Yeah. And, whenever when we were reaching out to his people, they were just like, if he can come here. How old is he now? He's like 90.
I don't know, he's up there. Where did you have him? Was it Austin?
We were in Austin, so it was really easy for him to get there.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. But even then, it's like, he's an old man. Right. He's very old. Right.
We do need some more Ron Pauls in this country.
Yeah.
My favorite member of Congress is Thomas Massey, hands down, period.
He's great.
Story.
Also promoter of raw milk.
Absolutely. Yeah, he grows his own cattle too.
Yep.
And I disagree with Massey quite a bit. Like, there's a lot of stories that come out, and I'm like, why is it, like, the Kevin McCarthy thing? I wanted to see strength from the Republican Party, and the ousting of McCarthy showed the willingness to be strong, but he was very much pro-McCarthy.
Yes, yeah.
I disagree with that. That being said, he is still...
he's one of the best.
One of the best. I'd give Rand Paul the number one spot.
Rand, okay.
Rand, and okay, so in the House, I give to Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz is...
Yeah, the ousting of McCarthy, the only thing you need to understand is there's a lot of politicking, there's a lot of wishful thinking, but Kevin McCarthy had $1 billion in IOUs ripped to shreds by the actions of Gaetz and the members of the Freedom Caucus who challenged and removed Kevin McCarthy.
Epic.
Yep.
So epic.
That was a wild... I remember we were covering that at Post Millennial, and it was really wild. It would be like, they're doing another vote. Okay. I wonder if he's got it this time when he came into office. And then, and we reported on how they had gone for this, what was it, the Jeffersonian motion, where it's one vote to get out. And I remember thinking, like, that's not going to go well. And it didn't go well for him. But he had to agree to it to get in the office. Yeah.
I'm reluctant to say I like any politicians. I mean, I definitely want to vote for the ones I agree with, but they all just fail to some degree.
Well, they're politicians.
Yeah, they're there to fail.
They're there to give up their principles and hold power.
Right.
It's like the job of a politician.
Just because you voted for someone or you might agree with them on a lot of things, you shouldn't feel like you have to defend them all the time.
No,
and always hold them accountable, no matter who it is.
Well, because one thing that I think happens and that the American people forget is that the elected representatives are there to serve us. We're not there to serve the government. They are there to serve us.
100%.
And if they're not doing the job that we send them to Washington to do, then it's our job to get rid of them.
It's like, how are people like Lindsey Graham still around in politics?
Well, he keeps getting voted for, I guess.
Pelosi,
Pelosi
McConnell freezes
Pelosi
up.
Is 84 years old, and she pushed Biden out because he was too old. She's older than him by 3 years.
Right. It's crazy. They just stay around. It's the other thing, like, I obviously think term limits are a good thing, but I heard someone once say that while that is good, you also have to think about the administration, like the administrative people around the politicians that stay there for a long time.
Yeah.
So almost thinking about how we're talking about Kamala or Joe being vessels for the White House and that ideology, same applies to Congress, and people who are there forever. Whether or not they're there forever, they're people working there constantly with the same ideology that you can't get rid of.
Did you see this? I guess this broke during the show. The Department of Defense revoked the plea agreements?
They revoked the plea deal. I saw that Lloyd Austin. It popped up on my Twitter while we were on the show.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to pull this. I always try to check for breaking news periodically.
Yeah, I meant to send that to you, and then we got started talking about jokes and stuff. I forgot.
This is actually a really big deal. Take a look at this. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin yanks plea deals for 9/11 terror attack mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 2 others. Department of Defense memo released tonight also relieves the official in charge of the military commissions of her oversight in the case. Wow. Authority to enter into pretrial agreements in United States v. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Subject, I have determined that in light of the significance of the decision to enter into a pretrial agreements with the accused in the above referenced case, responsibility for such a decision should rest with me as the superior convening authority under the Military Commissions Act of 2009, effective immediately. I hereby withdraw your authority in the above referenced case to enter into a pretrial agreement and reserve such authority to myself, effective immediately. In the exercise of my authority, I hereby withdraw from the 3 pretrial agreements that you signed on July 31st, 2024 in the above referenced case. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That is wild.
Man.
Interesting.
So we were just ragging on them because you got these J6ers locked up, some of them without charges, one guy in Brooklyn, and they're going to cut pretrial agreements, plea deals with 9/11 terrorists. And now you got a curveball. They just shut that whole thing down. Well, I don't know. I think that's the right thing to do. So
I think so too.
give a shout out to Lloyd Austin.
What do you think happened? Optics?
It does look pretty bad. I mean, these guys pleaded guilty in exchange for not having the death penalty. They pleaded guilty to killing 2,900 people in exchange for not having the death penalty. Now, I am not in favor of capital punishment. But it's hard to say that these guys should have any punishments removed from the table after they committed the worst act of terrorism on Americans in our country ever. Like, that is just insane.
Yep.
You know, that's just insane. Like, how are we killing mentally ill people in Texas, but these guys get off?
Right. It's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird, too, like that we're just talking about 9/11 so much now. I don't know if you've noticed this, like on Twitter.
There was that whole new video that was released.
Yeah, it's just 9/11 is just everywhere, which always makes, gives my like...
It gives you a little spidey sense tingling.
The crazy part of my brain goes off. Like, why are we talking about all these things all the time right now?
Are they trying to get moderate Republican types to defend Democrats or something?
Oh, they do weird things like this all the time too. When I was still teaching, and obviously this is way different, but it's 9/11-ish, is they had a lot of terrorists that I saw professors promoting a book of terrorists that were writing poetry. Do you remember that? It was like, this is terrorist poetry.
Yeah.
You should buy it and read it. I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Kind of weird. I don't want to read the poetry of terrorists.
I'm good.
If I don't read the poetry of terrorists, does that make me Islamophobic?
Yes, actually, yes.
I think
in
it's
universities,
sad that
yes.
we have to speculate what the reasoning is behind this. I mean, this should be the right decision because it's the right decision. We shouldn't have to speculate whether it's good for optics or whatever. It's sad.
Yeah, that's a great point.
How have we not had the trials, though?
We haven't had the trials because every time we've tried to have trials, the defense attorneys for the, murdering terrorists have said that they were mistreated while they've been detained, and so therefore they can't have any trials.
Wow.
That has happened multiple times. So that's a big part of it. Is they keep filing all these motions like this
it is it's crazy. There are many voters right now who are going to be voting in November who were born after 9/11.
It's true.
Obviously born after 9/11. There's going to be a 24-year-old who was a year old, not even a year old on 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to understand pre-Patriot Act. And then think about the next 20 years when we're all going to be super old. I don't know about super old, but, I'll be 58. And you're going to have the key demo, the majority of the working class, mid-range workers are going to be people who were born after 9/11. And the Patriot Act and the surveillance state and the manipulation and the AI will just be normal to all of them.
Mm-hmm. This is why politics keeps rolling on like a giant grinding mouth.
This is why I live in Wyoming.
This DOD thing just be the administration trying to help Kamala so that it doesn't look like they're soft on terrorism. That's
because the
prosecutor.
The attack ads would come out and be like, under Kamala Harris, the 9/11 terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, youth vote doesn't really matter all that much.
That's so underhanded and sneaky and gross that's what they would do it for political reasons.
Adds up.
Even though it is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know why they did it. I'm just glad that they're not giving the plea deal to.
It would be an election.
It's like how you
maybe the plea deal was the argument of let's just get it done with so they can be guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a guilty plea.
And then it's just over. Yeah, I mean, 9/11 families have been dealing with this for this whole time.
Mm-hmm. All the people suffering with the stuff they inhaled that Jon Stewart keeps helping out, the firefighters. And I think about this. I think about the way with Julian Assange and Biden. It's great I love it, but it seems like there's.
But why do we have to
other,
speculate?
I know.
Right?
Shouldn't have to.
No.
Because they all lie to us.
Yeah,
We're surrounded by constant lies.
Well, I was talking to Libby earlier. I was a political appointee in the Trump years at the State Department, the deep State Department, and 90% of the federal workforce is Democrat. 90%. So when a Republican comes in, so they're all rowing in one direction, right? They're all rowing in the direction of liberalism, Democrat, whatever.
Right.
And so when a Republican comes in, it's like you have to turn the entire ship.
Wow.
And so they talk about, deconstructing the administrative state, but the level of effort that it will actually require to do that is really, I don't think people realize what it's going to take to actually.
What do you think it takes? Is it?
I think you have to bring people in from out of DC that are preparing themselves for their next job and just building. They look at this is a resume builder, these jobs. They don't actually remember that they're serving and on the payroll of the American taxpayer. And so I think you have to bring people from outside of DC that have no ties here.
Yeah.
And that have no interest in the cocktail party circuit, no interest in building a career here. You give them a job and then they leave.
Right.
But why?
I know
would
that sounds
anyone
crazy,
do
but
that? Why would anyone do that?
you have
if
to
it doesn't
believe.
have-
Yeah,
I mean,
there were a lot of people that
go
wanted to do it in 2016, and there still are. But you just, you have to.
People go into industries to build careers, though, not just to
That's
have
true.
a job.
That's true. That's true.
And maybe a younger crowd who hopefully has more conservative values starts, infiltrating, and that's where it can change. Because I don't think there's anything you can do to regulate this. Any type of change. It's going to be like a moral shift.
Absolutely, and people have to really believe in what they're doing.
Right.
And then you were saying earlier that you think it's just all a wash, and I think there are a lot of people that feel that way, that they just don't have any sort of say over how it works. And
it's just like you're seeing people disagree on the most fundamental things.
Right.
I don't know how these people ever come together to do anything.
It's going to be hard.
For a long time.
It's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
Again, why I live out in Wyoming with a bunch of guns.
Yeah, stop promoting it. They're going to come build more houses there.
It's too cold. It's way too cold out in Wyoming and windy for a lot of people to come. The winters are really harsh. So.
Yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel about. It's one thing I'm actually worried about West Virginia. I've been thinking about a lot lately is infrastructure. That's everyone's favorite word. There's not a lot of people, but all of a sudden, a lot of people. And
There's
hospitals
been a
and
lot
restaurants.
Of housing. There's been a lot of housing.
They can already not handle a lot of this, what we have now. And now that there's all this new housing, that basically these houses grow up out of the ground overnight.
Right.
I'm like,
Because
how
we
are
don't
they
have
going
a lot of tight zoning?
Right. And how are the hospitals going to handle this? Because there's already hospitals, my wife being pregnant and stuff, we've been,
There's not
going
that
around
many
just looking.
Yeah.
Not many hospitals. Some of them one of them just had a crazy flood. All these people are moving here. It seems like a recipe for disaster.
Either that or a recipe to get a lot more tax dollars and build some stuff.
Yeah.
This past winter, it was funny. My son and I, we were at the grocery store, and the grocery store was packed. And everyone was stocking up on everything. And we were like, oh, what's going on? And they were like, there's going to be a huge blizzard coming through. And we were like, oh, well, okay. So we got a couple extra things, not that much extra stuff, and some rock salt. And we went home. And do you know that rock salt is still in the trunk of my car? I have never used it. And the blizzard comes and we were like, oh, look at it's pretty. And then we figured out what the issue was. They plowed our street once and that was it. And it was like, oh.
We're used to
at
different
least
types
we
of
got
plowing
the extra
situations.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Normally in New York, you come out in the morning, it's already plowed. The sidewalk is already cleared.
Yeah.
The only thing you really have to worry about is those 2-foot deep puddles in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
It's been really hot here.
Yeah.
And we haven't had snow in a couple of years. We had a little
there
bit.
was snow last year.
Yep, a little bit.
It was the blizzard that these people were telling me about.
Yeah, but we all thought there was going to be big snow, and then we didn't get anything.
It was not very much snow.
In 2020, we had a lot of snow. And then the past couple of years, it's been nothing. We bought a snow plow because we had this big, long driveway. It's 1,000 feet long. And now we've got this big property with all these driveways. So we got this plow, and then it doesn't snow, and we're just okay, I guess.
We get a lot of snow. We get a lot of snow. I live at the base of the mountain, and we're at 6,200 feet above sea level. Wow. So we even get more snow than town. Last winter was pretty mild, but the winter before my poor husband, who is 6'8", by the way.
My goodness.
And so he knows how to shovel snow. But yeah, I think a lot of people move to Wyoming because it's so beautiful. They see pictures, whatever, and then they spend one winter and they're like, I'm good. I'm going to go back to where I came from.
Brutal
Actually,
winters.
the people that owned the house before us, they were from Nevada, and they purchased their house in the summertime because it's really beautiful. Everything's super green. And then they sold it a year later because they couldn't deal with the winter time. So.
We're going to go to Super Chats. So if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, head over to timcast.com, click join us, become a member, because membership is what makes all of this possible. We're going to have a massive show on election night, and we are preparing for it right now. It's probably going to be like a 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. live live show with rotating guests. And there's going to be a live audience. I think we're doing maybe like 600 seats. I'm not sure. And it's going to be an interesting one. But it's only possible with your help as a member. So go to timcast.com if you want to be involved. And we'll grab your Super Chats. Token Black Guy with the first Super Chat saying, howdy, people. I'm sad that Clint chose to go the way he did. We as critical thinkers can't keep fighting for the rights of people who want to take those rights from us. Timcast, ride or die, 100%. So Clint was usually the first super chatter. And yesterday he said he was upset and that he was going to cancel his membership because I called out Angela Carini for supporting a male boxer who punched her in the face. I do not understand what, I got to say this. Look, if you don't want to give me $10 because you're mad, I will not get behind someone who's advocating for men and women's sports. Then, I'm surprised you're watching the show outright. I would imagine Clint's outrage was that the knee-jerk emotional reaction is this poor woman who was hit by a man. The only problem was she has repeatedly defended this guy, and she is just another feminist who thinks she can get in the ring with a man, and then afterwards, now, I was proven right. Sure enough, the next day, she says, I'm so sorry, I should have shaken your hand, and I will embrace you if I see you again. I wish you the best. Hoping the individual beats up more women and makes it to the end. Okay.
Rematch incoming.
I mean, I just, it's an emotional reaction to try and defend a woman who would support this stuff. And now Lauren Boebert's raised $63,000 for a woman who is advocating men fight women.
After getting beaten by one.
But that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Of course she's in the ring with the guy. She supports it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's into it.
Right.
It's just weird to me that it's like feminists advocate for a thing, they get thing, I feel bad for her, let's give her money. I don't get that.
Yeah,
if a feminist started advocating for open borders and then a bunch of criminals went to her neighborhood and started destroying things, I'm not going to pay her. And then imagine a woman was like, we need open borders. And then a bunch of cartel members come to her neighborhood and destroy everything. And then conservatives all rally together to fundraise for her on her behalf. And then the next day she's like, oh, by the way, I still want open borders.
It's like
madness.
Yeah.
Madness.
It's ridiculous. Token
Black Guy says, Rip Clint, we were always here for you, brother, and we'll welcome you back with open arms. Hear, hear. Brown Bear 992, asking a revolutionary what happens to them after the revolution is the same as asking them how they would feel if they didn't eat breakfast yesterday. Indeed it is. We were talking about this morning on the Culture War podcast. Leftist revolutionaries historically are the first to be eliminated by the new regime. Working class people in factories and at home and carpenters are not a threat to the established order. Revolutionary types like Antifa and their ilk, once they remove the established power and certain elements of their factions gain power, guess what? The new Generalissimo says, who's the threat to our power? It's not the guy in the factory who makes bread. It's the revolutionary leftists. So they're always the first to get sent to the gulag. They are the threat. Raymond G. Magastanley Jr. says, oh boy, here we go again with the online whiny baby conservatives getting mad at Kyle. They should focus on November 5th if they care that much about Trump winning. I mean, honest question, and I don't mean this with disrespect. I mean, honestly, is Cat Turd doing any kind of voter registration efforts? I certainly respect his advocacy online, which generates a lot of attention and will help in that regard. But there is the risk of a lot of that preaching to the choir. So if you do want to take issue with what Kyle Rittenhouse says, the most effective thing you can do is try and register new voters. Midnight Toker says, bought Graphene Dream and Appalachian, like both, but graphene is better. easier on my stomach, and I love coffee. What is this? Is there hidden flavors that frothing with milk or honey or anything that brings it out? I don't know. I just have espresso. I do Appalachian Nights, but I do it as an espresso, and it's delicious. Yeah. Have you had the Appalachian Nights, Libby?
No, I haven't had any of your coffee.
We have it.
Need to try.
Can I take some?
Sure.
I'll have
We got to
some.
figure out where it is.
I'll give it a shot.
Everyone keeps saying Graphene Dream is the best. It's kind of crazy, because if it is, then wow, Ian's a lucky guy.
I haven't tried that one, but the Appalachian.
I haven't tried the Ian Graphene Dream either.
Yeah.
No, it was a couple of months ago I was going to get some, and then it was all sold out, and then I forgot. And mostly I drink tea. So
Yeah, we need to make tea as well.
Yeah, Tim T.
you know what I drink is like
We got
this
some cool stuff in the works. though.
turmeric ginger tea.
Yeah. That's
Don't you have a physical location too coming?
We are building it, and I have good news. We just got word that in Martinsburg, we have passed another milestone. Talk about, you know what, man? Look, West Virginia is MAGA country, okay? Second most Trump-supporting country, state in the country. Do you know what the first is?
Wyoming.
It's indeed Wyoming.
Heck yeah.
Yep. And West Virginia is number 2. And it has been so insanely difficult for us to try and open a business and invest in West Virginia. It has been very frustrating.
Is it just all there's like crazy regulations?
But they're historical buildings. It's such an old place that we have this building, and it's like this building's been there for hundreds of years, or for 100 and something years. So the elevator is, of course, nope, got to be replaced. There's no access to the second floor without it, so you can't have it open to the public because of ADA regulations.
Oh
so,
my goodness.
So now the building, for the most part, anything beyond the first floor, then even though it's a separate part of the building, according to local regulations, it still counts as part of the open first floor. So even though a customer walking in the front door to go to the coffee shop would have no access whatsoever to the second floor, legally they still consider the second floor part of the first, and we can't open because it's a staircase. So we have to
how is
replace the entire
second
elevator
floor
shaft.
part of the first floor if it's the second floor.
Don't ask me.
Okay.
So 2 plus 2 equals 5.
There's a separate
Right,
entrance.
2 plus 2
Are these
equals 5.
county or city?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not handling it, but basically there's a separate entrance. There's a locked door between the stairs, second floor. So on the side of the building brings you to the second and third floor. The front door brings you in the storefront. Doesn't matter. They said, nope, it's one building. And as long as there are stairs on the first floor, then the second floor is part of the open floor plan for the first. And if it's open to the public, then you have to have accessibility for wheelchairs and for crutches and things like that. You can't use the elevator because it's too old, so you have to replace the entire elevator. It's a historic elevator, one of the first ever made in the country.
course.
So,
You have to restore it,
probably
or
why the guy sold us the building.
Right?
But well, the issue is we can demolish the elevator, no problem. We can go in, rip it to shreds, throw it in the garbage, and it's like the 4th elevator ever made in the United States or something like that.
no.
So you
Something
don't
like
want to
that.
destroy the elevator.
Nope. You can't get it updated. It's like there's restrictions on how you can update it. It works just fine, but it's not up to, for private use, it's fine. And so then I said, okay, how about this? How about we seal off the first floor and we get rid of all doors? That may be the solution.
Wow.
So there's no door that leads to the stairs. Yep.
They're beautiful
you have to go-
stairs, though.
Yeah, you have to go through a back door. And so I don't know. Anyway, apparently we just got some approval. It's been almost 2 years now. Almost 2 years of going back and forth, and the city's saying it's not our fault. We want it to happen, and it's like, dude.
If they wanted it to happen, they would probably
Yep.
not put you through the ringer on these
Yeah.
silly things.
I mean, I'm seriously getting to the point where I might just consider going to a different city.
Come to Wyoming.
Not leaving West Virginia. We've already got a
Well-
massive facility and office buildings, but just going to not dealing with Martinsburg.
If they're going to be a pain in the butt like that.
And it's sad because there's a diner down the street that just closed down, and I was
Just go
hoping
closer to my house.
Charlestown.
Charlestown is
We
great.
were
You know
looking.
that. There's that great building.
and there's 2 buildings we were looking at. One's in Charlestown.
Is it that, Thomas? Is it that?
The problem is
building?
the owner of it gave a tenant upstairs a sweetheart 3-year deal, and I think I find that offensive. I told him, I was like, I got no problem with the tenant upstairs who wants to live there long term, but the idea that you would try to sell me a building, but then before you did, you go to a guy and you give him a sweetheart deal for 3 years. I can't buy your building now. Bye. Have a nice day. You know,
You got to watch
let
out.
me work the deal with the tenant.
In Charlestown, there's a lot of big caverns beneath those buildings.
Yeah, one of them, there's like a horror story of a
Yeah.
some high school kids who died.
What happened?
Under the ice cream shop, right next to it, there's hidden caves.
Oh my goodness.
And there's also a possible cult in Charlestown.
That's
really?
cool.
Yeah.
What's the cult?
I forget the name. Who told me about that?
That sounds like
someone on
you'd
the,
know
on the
about.
team. I know. I forget. I did not look into that myself, but I was told they have some facility there.
All right. Millennial Republic says, raid night with some IRL in the background. Happy Friday, y'all, for the Horde. For the Horde. Do people still play World of Warcraft? I know Adrian Curry does, but I was reading that their player base is gone. Like, apparently, they still have millions of people paying monthly, but they don't actually play anymore, and they just forgot they have the subscription. And there's only a few 100,000 people who actually play or something.
Dead World of Warcraft theory.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
It's true, though. A lot of people sign up for things and then forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that with The Economist.
You said you're sad about that.
Yeah, because it was like $34 a month, and I was
Wow.
like, damn it.
I think there's an app that you can review all of your subscriptions.
Yeah, but you have to pay for that too.
Yeah, and then you forget you have
Dang.
that
Then you
one.
forget that. And it's just like, oh my goodness.
Never ending.
So I just try and go through and delete everything. I did delete the Economist, because what happens is I want to read something, and so then I'll sign up, and then I'll forget to delete it.
Yeah, I know. Especially when you're trying to write things.
Write
You need to
something fast, and you want to reference something, and you just
know.
want to read it real quick.
Yeah.
And
All right.
We have a bunch of subscriptions, but that one's expensive. Bloomberg is
crazy.
a bitch.
Yeah. Doctor says, well, let me just quote the late, great Colonel Sanders, who said, I'm too drunk to taste the chicken. Ricky Bobby May, baby Jesus bless America, may baby Jesus bless America in his golden fleece diapers. Well, okay. Drewish says, with lefties, democracy means communist coup. Indeed.
It's the biggest gaslight of our time, the democracy thing. It really is.
It's so fake. They're
It's
so
so
fake
fake.
about it. They don't
It's so
mean
fake.
it.
But they don't have to be truthful. I mean, they don't have to be.
No, because
Look at what they're
everyone
doing
just
right now.
believes them anyway.
They're just shuffling in their person.
All right. Andrew Russ says, a friend told me about the pizza index is on the uptick. What does that mean? Meaning the warmongers are working late in D.C.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting statistic.
Wow.
Late night pizza deliveries.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he says, also regarding lithium in the water, governmental placement of calming agent was the premise of the movie Serenity.
Interesting.
Yep. Polly Puree says, Tim is correct. The DNC and the RNC are private clubs that can make and break their own rules. Yep. And that's what you get, America. You haven't had real choice in a long time. And then Donald Trump, who wasn't supposed to win, wins. The Republicans were pissed. The Democrats were pissed. The Republicans were pissed because Donald Trump stormed his way in. It wasn't supposed to win the primary. Democrats thought he was a Pied Piper candidate who was going to lead the Republicans to ruin, and Hillary Clinton would win. And the news organizations and fact checkers and pollsters all said Hillary Clinton has a 98% chance of winning. And then we hit that 1.9%, and Donald Trump got it.
I loved watching that needle turn on the election night.
Almost
on the
10
New York
years now.
Times.
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years?
That is
I mean, it was
crazy.
8 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just remember everyone crying after.
The needle
remember
on
that
New York
too.
Times slowly going over.
They were so confident over here, and then slowly, going
They were
back.
horrified.
Oh, yeah.
when I think it was Nevada or whatever state went for like Hillary, and then the Trump campaign announced they were going to be filing a lawsuit. All the Democrats at the Sputnik office, they were like, "Here it comes," and they were all smug and laughing. So I've told the story a bunch, but it's always a great story. I was hanging out with Cassandra McDonald. She was working at Sputnik, and she was the only Trump supporter. The entire office were Democrats, and they were all smug and smirking, and they were like soy boys.
Yeah.
And Cassandra was like, whatever. And then they were like, oh, look at this. Hillary's winning again. And then as the needle started to move, it's close to the 50%. It was like 99% Hillary. Then it gets to like the 50%. Cassandra's going, oh my God, I think he might win. And then people in the room start sweating. And then by the end of the night, literally everybody was crying, even Cassandra, but she was crying tears of joy. And the rest were crying tears of fear.
So I was on the transition team in 2016,
Wow.
and we actually shared a building with the Hillary transition team.
Wow.
It was
you hear all-
1717 Pennsylvania Avenue,
Wow.
just right down the street from the executive office
What
building.
were you hearing?
I mean, they had such a, I don't know what the word for it. They would walk in with smirks on their face and kind of look at us, you're going to be gone here in a few weeks. And I just remember the next day, walking into that elevator after Trump won was the greatest feeling.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they were in tears. It was awesome.
They were packing
I was
up their
even at the
offices.
RNC watch party up at the W Hotel downtown.
Wow.
And even that crowd was like wanting Trump to lose.
Really?
Oh,
The RNC
absolutely.
crowd?
100% they were. Yeah. And so it was truly the greatest feeling because, you know, I moved to DC at 22. I had no idea what I was doing, and I started working for Donald Trump, and everyone told me, you're never going to have a career. This is going to end your career forever. And of course, the day after the election, they were all calling me for jobs, right?
Of course. Yes.
You know, but yeah, I think it was just an amazing feeling walking into that elevator and looking them right in the eye.
Yeah.
Those are the good old days.
Yeah.
Triumph.
Yeah,
And you know, we just want it one more time. Can we just have that again this November? You know,
Yeah.
how old are you, Kellen?
26.
So this is 8 years ago. You probably weren't paying attention all that much, were you?
I was actually watching it that night.
Oh, okay,
That was
good.
I remember it. Yeah.
You got to
it was
experience the
fun.
joy.
I didn't think he was going to win. And then I was like 2 a.m. I'm like, holy,
Yeah.
he's going to
But
win.
where were you on this one? Were you crying on the ground screaming, or were you like, yeah, or were you just like, huh?
More, I was shocked. I was shocked, though. I definitely was. I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, because you're from like a more moderate area, though, right?
Yeah. Definitely blue from where I grew up. Yeah.
Maryland.
Yeah. Outside of D.C.
Oh, okay, then definitely.
So
blue.
very, very blue. Yeah. A lot of people were upset.
It was glorious.
I really think we need to stop with the infighting, though. If you've noticed a lot of that on Twitter,
Oh yeah,
and I mean,
never Trumpers.
I think it's also people are preparing for their next job in the administration. And I saw this when I was on the campaign in 2020. People were so focused on what their next job would be. And I'm like, guys, we have a campaign. We have an election to win.
Right.
And I feel that now. And I'm really scared about it because, you know, we have to win. And the Dems with their preferred, you know, shoved in candidate are going to do whatever it takes. They have the entire media apparatus behind them.
Right.
I mean, look at what's happened in the last week.
Yeah.
Now Kamala is, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but now Kamala is the greatest thing. And I just think we need to be on our A game and stop bickering.
Hopefully surrounded by people who are actually focused on the now.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
opposed to
absolutely.
what their next move is. I mean,
Yeah.
which I get, and you should be
Absolutely.
thinking.
You have to have a
But
plan.
yeah.
And we saw that, you know, at the transition team last time around. We had, you know, we weren't prepared. And I remember walking into the State Department pre-January, like interviewing the outgoing officials.
Wow.
That was a wild time. I was like, this is surreal. I mean, there were tears, like I was saying, but you have to have a plan. And like I was saying earlier, you know, it's going to take a lot to right that ship. But if we don't win the election, then there's no chance of that. I mean, we don't, you know, so.
Yeah. All right. This guy says, hey, Tim, longtime watcher, first time super chatter. I love the work you do and find you to be the most reliable news source available. Thank you for all you're doing. And screw that Clint Torres dude. Well, Clint's allowed to express his opinion, but it is always funny to me. Like, look, we have people cancel all the time. We have people who are members and then they cancel. They don't say anything to us. It is funny to me when there are people who are like, they post 5 super chats explaining, they send us $50 to explain why it is they disagree and they're mad at me or whatever. And it's like, well, you know, it is what it is. If you want to go watch a show where they're going to agree with everything you say, it will not be this one. Barely a Millennial says, just wanted to say the easiest way to get healthier is to stick to the perimeter of the grocery store. Oh, and Libby, I've been looking into those DEI executive orders, especially 14035. Holy crap. What is that one?
I don't know what 14035 is, but if it's one of those first ones on the first days, they're all pretty bad.
Wow.
But what did you say? 14035. I'm going to write
14035.
14035.
Matt Murphy says, interesting that they frame Kamala as a black woman, Asian American. Is the left finally claiming victory for the destruction of the black family? I'm not sure I understand what that means. No idea. Is that because she doesn't have a family or something? The big Klobaznik says, well, dang, Tim, I hear you talk about it all the time, but tonight I had to go searching for Timcast IRL. It's usually on my front page. That's right. And the funny thing is, we can see it, dude. Come on. Like today, I think we had like 28,000 peak concurrent viewers, which it's like Friday and a lot of people are out partying. So I'm not surprised that on a Friday night we have less. But then we get inundated with messages being like, YouTube will not send me the show and I have to go find it. And then you can see it in the analytics. Let's see. Percent M says, the national debt was started officially in 1917 as a way to pay for World War I. We have never actually paid off that debt. We're still paying off World War I. Yeah, but if the U.S. bought Bitcoin, imagine if in 2009, the U.S. bought all the Bitcoin. It would be worthless because nobody would have any and nobody would be using it. Let's go. Neo Reaper says, breaking, they're now saying the CCP was involved in the Trump assassination attempt and that there was an arrest at Mar-a-Lago. I heard something about that. I don't know about an arrest, though. Have you guys heard this?
Really? No.
I heard something about China being involved. Yeah. Nina A says in regular chat, Timcast IRL is never on my front page, even if I watch the show almost every day. You see, YouTube would love it if the show ceased to exist. But the problem is people choose to watch it. YouTube wants to exist in a world where they decide what people watch, and they hope most people will just watch whatever's suggested to them. And that's true for a lot of people, which is why we have been what's called Tiny Room Shadow Banned, where they stop recommending the video the channel at all. The Timcast News morning show is not searchable on Google because Google is hoping that we go away.
If I put that into YouTube search, you got to scroll down till you pop up.
If you go to youtube.com/Timcast News, take the title of any one of my live streams or videos and Google search that title, the video does not come up. Yep.
Crazy. The music video comes up.
Yep.
But nothing news related.
Yeah, and other people have complained that if you try searching for the show, YouTube will also send you a whole bunch of leftist progressive channels instead.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's like the search the other day where you'd search Trump campaign or whatever, and it would be Kamala Harris's campaign that comes up first.
Rigging the game.
Have you noticed a difference since Twitter became X?
Well, I mean, not for Google stuff, but
Obviously not.
on X, it looks like traffic went way down.
Really?
Well, yeah, because Elon started banning all the bots, and it was all dead internet fake garbage. What you do is you make a bunch of bots, and then you have those bots programmed to search for statements that contain certain qualifiers to retweet and like them. So if someone says something like, vote Kamala, you create 1 million bots throughout the world, and they seek out posts like this that they will like and retweet. And then some teenager on X will be like, wow, when I said vote Kamala, I got 10,000 retweets. I'm going to keep doing this. And the bots are trying to manipulate behavior. Elon basically said, I'm going to monetize that. Now, if you want to post and actually have an effect on the algorithm, you've got to be paying me money. And then they all evaporated.
We have a weird thing at Post Millennial where, we'll put links in our stories to past stories, background and whatever. And I would always just do a search, subject, the Post Millennial on Google, and stories would pop up and I would just link to them. And now if you do subject and the Post Millennial, we're not on the first page, we're not on the second page. Something changed within the past, I would say 3 months. And it's very difficult to find our stories on Google. And it's annoying. It disrupted my workflow, but also it's
right.
Total trash.
Who
It's a
you
real
talk to about that.
It's a real bang job, having this happen. Yeah.
Terrible.
Common Sense Fishing says, as an HVAC contractor making $300K a year, I understand your complaint about Social Security. What do you say to those who've paid into Social Security for the last 20 to 30 years? F you lose your money, or a giant refund. If I was actually ever going to be in office and had to deal with Social Security, I would do a tapering down. We would, first, no new recipients. So for those that have paid into it, yeah, that's too bad. You're not receiving it now. Actually, no, I take that back. It would be like a cutoff point, probably like at anyone who's 41 and after, you can expect to receive it. But anyone younger, start making other plans. And we'd also have to figure out if you're under that age, then you slowly stop paying because someone's got to pay into it if we're tapering it down. But then as we slowly start reducing the payments, the people who are receiving it start getting less and less and less. And something like that. The challenge, I suppose, is that people who did pay into it. And they now they want it. How about this? We pay you back what you paid into it. The issue, I guess, is you built...
I'd be cool with that.
But that's not going to work. You're going to get back $100 a month or something.
Yeah.
So you paid into a system that doesn't work. And I don't think the solution is just to be like, let's just keep trying to glue it together. The reality is, sooner or later, the whole thing collapses. We can try to manage the collapse now, or we can wait 20 years until it implodes and then people are screaming and destitute. People need to start, and this is for millennials, okay? You better have a retirement plan set up. Hope you have kids, because ain't going to be no Social Security for you. You're going to be old, and you are going to be homeless. And that's what we're seeing now. Good luck.
Have a family.
Or you can have kids, have a family. And then when you're old and dying, you'll have 3 kids and 12 grandkids or whatever. And they're going to be like, we love you, Grandpa. And you're going to say, or Grandma. And then you're going to be like, I lived a good life. Thank you for taking care of me in my retirement. I knew I could always rely on you. And then they're all going to cry and be sad that Grandpa died. Or you can be an old man lying under a bridge, and the police will come by and say, hey, you, move. You can't be here. And then you're going to have a heart attack.
The police will be those robots rolling around California, though, by that point.
And around the grocery
Yeah,
store.
the robots will come and start cattle prodding.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes in a movie ever is Groundhog Day, when
That's such a great
Bill Murray tries to save the old homeless man, but no matter what he does, he cannot do it. The old man's time had just come.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, if you haven't already, please smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member at timcast.com to support the show. You can follow me on X at Timcast. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Catherine, do you want to shout anything out?
Meriwether Farms, buy local, support the farmers and ranchers always. They feed you every day.
Where can they find it? What's the website?
meriwetherfarms.com.
Sweet.
Yep. Or find me on X, Catherine. What's my handle now? COG_MF, Catherine O'Neill. But you'll try the beef sticks soon.
Sweet. Can't wait.
You can find me on Twitter at Libby Emmons, and of course at the Postmillennial and humanevents.com.
You're supposed to go, I'm Libby Emmons.
Yeah, you didn't push the glasses on.
I'm Libby Emmons, Postmillennial. Oh, and I have a newsletter.
Oh, nice.
It's thepostmillennial.com/Libby. You could sign up.
Sweet. It was a fun night. I'm Shane Cashman. You can find me everywhere online. The show is Inverted World Live. That's Sunday at 6 p.m. And we're going to have a really fun show on Sunday talking about occult stuff, UFOs, Olympic ceremony, and a little bit of David Lynch. See y'all there.
Right on. You going to sign out, Kellen, or what?
Yeah, the voice from the void, the blackness that you see
there's nothing on
yeah. I'm Kellen. I've been pushing the buttons. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Ron, everybody, thanks for hanging out. We got clips coming up throughout the weekend, and we'll see y'all on Monday.